Welcome back to Sky Sport Next coverage of the opening day. It is the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships of 2022. Opening 2 days of this competition as we spotlight our wonderful under-18 and under-20 talent. Saturday, Sunday, the seniors and our para-athletes come out featuring Olympians and Paralympians. At the moment we move into the afternoon session. It's going to be highlighted by some hurdling action. Of course, we will also have the finals of the under-18 and under-20 men's and women's 100 metres. That will be pretty good. There's a pretty decent 5,000 metres clash coming up. We'll see some 800 metres action as well. And then relays, that's just on the track. Head to the field events. We've got some discus coming up. We've got triple jump, high jump, long jump for the women as well. So there's going to be some really good action right across this wonderful sporting complex. And there you see our athletes getting themselves ready for the women's 300 metre hurdles under 18. I guess there's some of you sitting there going, hang on, I thought hurdles were run over 400 metres. As there we see 300 metre hurdles, Mohaka Rafting. Great to have them on board as the sponsor. So Sarah Cowley-Ross, just the reasoning why we are looking at 300 metres as opposed to 400 metres for athletes of these age. Good afternoon again to you.
Good afternoon, Nigel, and welcome to everyone who's joining our broadcast for this afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. 300 hurdles, it's where athletes start their long hurdling career and then moving up to the 400 hurdles, which is, you know, a brutal event. So let's start them over 300 first and then push them out to 400.
Just remember, the 400 metres hurdles is known as the man and or woman killer, okay? And it's referred to lovingly by athletes with tongue firmly in cheek. It's a brutal event. I mean, we always talk about just running 400 metres, one lap of a track and field track at a decent clip. Well, when you throw some flight of hurdles every 14 to 15 steps, it is something that you really do need to build up to. But then you can see our athletes for the first heat just getting themselves all set. We've already seen a few of these athletes already sort of competing in other events. Zara Rattray, for example, we've seen in the triple jump. Sophie Hancock was also involved as well. There we see Holly Fawcett on the inside. She is in lane number 1. Just outside of her you saw 236. That's Ava Seller of Auckland. Our wonderful volunteers have been out. They got themselves a nice early lunch and then they've been out and set up all the hurdles, placed them all out like a well-drilled machine that they are. And that'll be the first event, as I say, to get us underway this afternoon as they start to get themselves set. So it's Holly Fawcett in 1, Ava Silva in 2, Sophie Hancock is in 3, Grace Wisniewski also of Waikato Bay Plenty is in lane number 4, Maddie Kelso-Heap lane 5 out of Auckland, Sarah Jameson, Otago in 6, Emily Jackson of Canterbury in 7, and Zara Rattray of Waikato Bay Plenty. They are in lane number 8. And as you see, this is a nice start here by Sarah Jameson. The key is trying to get that really nice even stride pattern in between the hurdles. And at the moment, Sarah going very nicely with that, but here on the inside comes Grace Wisniewski. Oh, and she's moving along very nicely. She's to the front. And she's got that rhythm, you notice. Just see as they come up to the final, no checking whatsoever, just completely in stride. It's a really nice display there by Grace Wisniewski. Sarah Jameson coming through for second spot. And a very good example of hurdles running there. She is Grace Wisniewski.
Great run there by Grace.
44.77 over the 300 metres, sorry.
Yeah, and just outside of a PB of 44.69. So Sarah Jameson, 45.26. Maddie Kelso-Heap, 45.48. So some really great running there by those girls in their heat.
Over the 300 metres, it's a really good start. But again, it's that, we see it a lot. And obviously we've been treated a lot by Portia Bing as she sort of evolved and worked her way through her progressions down to setting New Zealand records. Just those fine little margins where she's missed by maybe a tenth here or 2/10 there, and you just notice there's that slight little stutter maybe going over the last hurdle. And then we saw what we saw at the Sir Graham Douglas, which was just a beautiful free-flowing run from start to finish.
Absolutely. She was in perfect rhythm at Sir Graham Douglas. And we've talked about it this morning already, the importance of rhythm for all events in athletics, but particularly in the 400 hurdles. They go to a stride pattern and they try and hold it for as long as possible. When they start to chop their stride, it really disrupts them. So it's really nice to see these young women running over the hurdles so nicely.
Now, interesting to note as well, just for a little bit later on when the sprinters come out to play, that we're looking there down the home straight, there was a tailwind of plus 1.7 metres per second. Now, just remember, when we get sort of around 100 metre time, we don't want to see any of those numbers get above 2, because as soon as it gets above 2 metres per second, then all of a sudden any records that might be recorded would be voided. So it would be nice to see just that wind stay around that 1.5, 1.7. Very pleasant as we get ready for the second heat. Pascal Bowie out of 102 Wanganui. Taneva Ginning is in the lane alongside her teammate, Olivia Herman out of Canterbury, April Milne Wellington, Madeline Thomas, Canterbury, and Savannah Athonga of Auckland. You saw them there across the field. Madeline Thomas has already had a very busy morning. And you see Madeline in the glasses on the outside. She has had a very busy old day. Savannah Athonga outside of her. She hits the first hurdle in nice rhythm as well. So as they make their way down, that's April Milne of Wellington, Olivia Herman of Canterbury inside of her. Looks like Olivia Herman probably just got the better of them at the moment, as they'll even up as they come into the home straight. Olivia does appear to have a little bit of advantage, although Madeline Thomas also taking that one at exactly the same time. So it's the two Cantabrians down the straight. And Thomas just making sure she stays in her lane there, but this is a very good performance by Olivia Herman. Just getting a little bit out of sync there was Madeline Thomas, but those two will work their way through to the line. So it's Herman from Thomas. And it looks like it was Pascal Bowie in lane number 2 coming through for third out of Manawatu Wanganui. A really good run, and even you can see right there a visual illustration of how taxing this event is. And the reason why starting at 300 as opposed to just going breakneck into 400 metres is a very good idea for these young athletes.
It's a very good idea.
Because if we didn't start at 300, I don't know how many would get to 400 metres, because it really is such a taxing event.
Yes, this is no joke. And 47.78 for Olivia Herman crossing the line in that official time. Madeline Thomas 49.55 and Pascal Bowie 49.90. So they will progress.
I was wondering if Pascal's in relation to Jason Bauer. Very good cricket and rugby player out of Wanganui, back around my vintage. I'm sure there'll be someone out there who might be able to tell me whether it's from the same clan, the same whānau. But Olivia Herman, really nice run again, 47.78, 300 metres over the hurdles. So we're just hearing over the loudspeaker that Grace Wisniewski will take that gold medal. Not sure on that. I'll double check that there. Not on the information that we have seen, but nonetheless, there was some very impressive running by all of those athletes, and hopefully we will see more of them sort of progress their way through. As I said, this afternoon we have got the 400 metres, which will be coming for the under 20 athletes, so they will have the extra flights to deal with. It's set to get underway in around about 15 minutes time. And we've also got the men's under 18s. They too will be over the 300 metres. Just a couple of athletes in the men's under 20s. And then we start to dial in on the finals for the men's and women's under 18 100-metre sprints. Some really nice performances this morning. Talia Van Rooyen will be someone I'm sure everyone will be keeping an eye on. Just noticing as well, Sarah, you mentioned how there was the plus 1.7 in that first heat. Notice the wind just creeping up.
Yeah.
It was 2.7 for the second race.
Yeah, so we actually sort of don't record wind readings over 200 metres in athletics, but it is
just an
indication of what those girls had to run into when they started the race. So with that, it's unfortunate for them. It's just the way it is in track and field, but it does take a sting out of you if you are trying to keep to a stride pattern when you start the race.
You see the field for the under 20 women's. It's a small field. Yeah, waiting. Some of Diana Fariz there. We saw bib number 151 out of Auckland. Two Manawatu Wanganui athletes as well. Paige Cromartie and Maggie Jones and Sophie Adams also out of Auckland. So that's a good little Manawatu Auckland battle, which will get underway. It's probably around about 10 minutes time. We have got, track athletes, field athletes to compete this afternoon as well. We've already seen some good throwing. So we expect the Solar family very much to the fore.
You'll notice that they've changed the direction that the horizontal jumpers are going on the back straight. So in the morning session, the triple jumpers were jumping the right way around the track, I guess. Well, actually into what would be normal. How do I explain it, Nigel?
The normal I'll try and tell. So when you're running, obviously, a 400 metres, you're running anti-clockwise.
Correct.
So that was running alongside that back straight.
Yes.
So heading down towards what we would know as the 200-metre area. Looks as though they've reversed it now to take advantage of the wind, which likewise has changed a little bit of direction.
Thank you for that help. But that's great for, first of all, the athletes. So thanks very much to the officials for changing the direction of that those horizontal jumps that we'll see later this afternoon.
So there's athletes already over there, and they're starting to work their way through. It's under 20 men's triple jump. There's also the long jump as well, which I'm sure is going to be a very good contest. Another good field in that one. You see Jennian Holmes, great to have them on board again there. Such a wonderful supporter of New Zealand track and field for such a long time. It's now the naming rights sponsor and have been for a while of the Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships 2022 version. And there you see those jumpers that Sarah Cowley-Ross was alluding to. Just a few of the support staff, coaches who are able to be in the venue, this wonderful venue. It's a great shot that you saw there as we were panning back. And so just having a look through at the field, speaking of those records, those sprints I should say, 100 metres under 18 final. It's a really, really good field. Both the Collette sisters are in there. Michaela Fitzy out of Tasman, Georgia Gibbons out of Otago. Of course, Talia Van Rooyen has set that mark of 11.89. Just 1/100th of a second underneath the standard, which was 11.9. Just wonder if maybe she can get that breeze be just a little more favourable. At the moment it is blowing in behind, so it will be assisting. That's what that strength will be. The under 18 women's mark over 100 metres, set back in 1990 by Briar Toop. It's always neat when you go through and you have a look at all the different events and you start looking and seeing some of the names that sort of pop up on there and some of the wonderful athletes. And of course it also gives you a little bit of an indication on their progression. I'm just looking, funnily up, turn over to the women's shot put, the under 20s. No surprise who the national record holder is. It's not a bad record as well. 18.96. Valerie Adams at the age of 19.
4 kg shot put.
4 kg shot put. 18.96. You just see a few of the results coming up on your screen. Toby Robb was in very good form, just edging out Caleb Solar in conditions which we were just talking about how advantageous that breeze will be for the sprinters coming down the main straight. It was a little bit in the morning, it was more going the other direction, so very much so sort of hindering the throwing ability of our leading under 20 men, and I'm sure Toby and Caleb in particular would have really loved the wind they've got right now because it's coming straight down the main straight. It would have been off their right shoulder as they were throwing, and I'm sure they would have loved that little bit of extra. Fortunately not to be. It was interesting talking when we had Terry Lomax in commentary this morning, just talking about how historically it does have a tendency to swing around a little bit in the afternoon. There you see the lovely vistas that we have here. Just a wee break and play at the moment. Some of our athletes just getting themselves preparing, waiting for the next event. Our friend that we were chatting to the start of the game, Jackie Dye, who won bronze in the triple jump, having a chat with him. He was very happy. I said, must be stoked with that. And his reply was, mate, I'm just stoked to be here. It's so nice to have this.
Great?
And I think that it's probably going to be quite an overarching sentiment from a lot of people, but it was just lovely to actually hear. It was incredibly genuine, just so absolutely stoked to be here. I said, well, is that it? Are you done and dusted? He said, no, I'm having to go on the long jump tomorrow. And he goes, it's not my best, but I hear I'm going to give it a go. So rate that highly. From the
I
young
rate
man,
that highly.
I think that's really cool to hear. So,
and he did tell us that he is coached by Alec McNabb. So there you go.
yeah, well, we saw, and fascinating to watch. Alec was actually doing some of the medal presentations. Alec, part of that wonderful Wanganui Collegiate program, and involved heavily in Wanganui Athletics, one or two Wanganui Athletics at this particular event. They were saying come the end of this year, 50 years worth of involvement. And that's the thing, is there you go. You see another one of our great volunteers being sun smart. And the sun is starting to poke through. I know the temperatures, just looking ahead over the course of the weekend, it's meant to get warmish. Not warm by Hawke's Bay standards, but warmish by probably everybody else's standards. And I'm sure that will sort of light up the eyes, particularly of the sprinting group. They won't mind a little bit of heat. It's a nice gentle breeze down the back straight would be nice. There you see our officials just making sure we got everything in the right place.
There are some really long servants of athletics in our officials, and just a real tribute to them that they've come out here for an extra day, as we mentioned earlier. Here's a new servant, though.
But she's been around forever.
She's been around forever. And we love her. That's Alicia Loveridge. She's a Athletics New Zealand photographer. You'll see lots of her work on the gram. But she has covered now Olympics, Commonwealth Games, World Championships, so it's fantastic.
Well, we do love to wax lyrical about our outstanding world-class athletes, world-class administrators, that young lady there on your screen, world-class athletics photographer. Absolutely brilliant at her craft. And you see she's already come. She got the knee pad on today. I'm just having a look. She normally has the old knee pad on.
And she does actually compete in the pole vault as well, but not competing this weekend. She's got a lot of photos to capture. But as you say, Nigel, just another avenue in sport that she has pursued and is pursuing with excellence.
There's a member of our Stream Shop team who are helping provide Sky Sport Next with the images. A great wee crew here. Helen doing a great job keeping them all in line as well. There you see them. That's the preparation for the long jump. There you see that's Helen there, just looking down the end. Right beside her, that's Chris, a.k.a. Chucky. And that is the legend herself, Sarah Cowley-Ross.
And this is the legend.
A wannabe that's never going to be.
The boss.
I wish.
The boss.
I wish I had 1 ounce of the collective talent that these extraordinary people do. But it's a wonderful team to be part of. And just a wee pause in proceedings here. I'm not 100% sure why, because believe you me, the last person you good folks watching on Sky Sport Next need to see on your television screen is my ugly mug.
And
that is for sure.
me sitting next to you. So let's get back to the action.
I'm sure there's a decent group of people who'll be more than happy to see you. Still probably looking at these thinking, oh, gee, she looks in great nick. Why isn't she out there competing again? Why isn't she rolling around again? She has clarified, good people watching on Sky Sport Next, that she does have a minor foot injury. Otherwise, I suspect we would have been missing her for the odd event. Maybe on Saturday or Sunday, maybe a triple jump. Maybe another long jump possibly, or a sprint.
A sprint, yeah.
A sprint.
I would have loved to have done the 4x1 relay, but I actually ripped my plantar fascia, so no can do.
That's a little bit different from what you were saying with regards to a minor injury. A tearing of a plantar fascia is quite a serious injury.
Oh, look! In the grand scheme of things, it could be way worse in these times. And I've been out here way too long, so I'm quite happy to be sitting here and just about to watch these young women take on the 400 hurdles.
Yeah, and just the 3 now. It looks as though we've lost Sophie Adams, so it's just going to be some of Diana Fares of Auckland. Do you see her 151? Outside of her, Maggie Jones of Manawatu Wanganui and Paige Cromartie. Also outside as well, mohakarafting.co.nz, sponsoring our 400 metres hurdles action here on the opening day of the New Zealand Track and Field Championships. The Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships, and they are underway. And you'll see them straight away just trying to really get into that nice rhythm as they head over the first flight of hurdles and make their way through to the second. And you can see that Maggie Jones has got a good rhythm in between. Good work as well here from Fares on the inside. This is pretty even as they head to the 200 metre mark. Jones just painting ever so slightly. Fares has got a lovely rhythm in between. A little bit of a stretch there, but she maintains the rhythm. Some of Diana Fares on the inside. Really nicely. Now here comes another push from Jones. Cromartie there just losing a bit of her rhythm. Coming into the top. Now Jones has really refound. And she's away nicely. But just tiring ever so slightly. But Jones just had a wee hiccup. Here comes a good finish as well from Cromartie as Faraz just tires up. That's really nice work from Maggie Jones of Manawatu Wanganui. Paige Cromartie comes through in second spot. And Samadiama Faraz of Auckland in third. 1 minute 4.34 for the winner who's on your screen right now.
Well, that's a great time by Maggie Jones. Looks like could be a PB for her. And I watched it last weekend at the International Track Meet where she won the 100-metre hurdles. Amy Robinson, who's the national title holder, she pulled up lame, and Jones made the most of the opportunity and came away with the win. She said that she prefers the long hurdles, so it's great to see her out here this afternoon.
Let's have a look at timings, etc., in terms of qualifications and the likes, but that's really good stuff there by Maggie Jones. And there you see our 3 finishes. So the qualification time you're looking at there around 61 seconds. It's still very good because it looked as though she lost the rhythm slightly sort of going through the 200, and then yet all of a sudden she somehow managed to re-find it, and that's really difficult to do, and something which we've already spoken about is such a rhythmical event.
Yeah, and just bear in mind now that the wind is picking up on the back straight, so she was running into a headwind on that straight, and literally she just turned it on and then came home strong. So great effort there by Maggie, and hopefully Paige is happy with her time too.
It's not too bad. Some of the Ama Faraz, 67 seconds, 67.26. As we say, just when you think about what they're doing, 400 metres over hurdles, again, that breeze picking up-ish, not as strong overall as we have seen, but what I've noticed is the breeze is very in and out. Just before we saw a great shot as we look down the back straight now and get ready for our under-18 men's hurdlers to get about their action. Noticing the windsock in and around where the pole vault and the long jump is taking place. And gee, that was one point it's going this way, next point it's going that way. Here we are with the javelin. As we start getting set for that particular event, it's the women's javelin. And Bree Ackland.
They're into their warm-ups.
So, keep an eye on that one here. We see the men getting themselves all set as we work our way through. There's a few people, just a bit of a chat, bit of a debrief. How'd you find that? What'd you think? Once again, we talk so much about the wonderful camaraderie.
And we have to just bear in mind, like you were referring to with our friend from Whanganui this morning, is that these athletes, these under 18 and under 20 athletes, a lot of their competitions have been postponed or cancelled. Last year's Nationals had to be, this section had to be cancelled. New Zealand secondary schools last year had to be cancelled. So I think there is a real sense of gratitude and excitement about being together, everyone being able to get on and compete.
Yeah, you see your mates. I mean, you're bouncing around sort of areas, sort of I use the term normal. No one gets offended by that, but I think you understand what I mean. When I say, normally they'd be bouncing around pretty much every second weekend or so, and they'd be catching up, and you make those sort of friendships. So, yeah, you see the 300-metre hurdles final for the under-18 men. Nathan Brown is in lane number 1. Liam Prouting-Gardner of Otago, lane number 2. Bo Brackenridge, Canterbury in 3. Braxton Cody of Manawatu Wanganui 4. James Hanson of Tasman 5. Ben Ward, Auckland. He's in 6. Wiremu Knowles, 7. And Luke Moffat of Otago is in lane number 8. Wiremu Knowles out of the Waikato Bay of Plenty. There we see Bo Brackenridge. To get themselves all fired up, ready, working through.
It was interesting, Nigel, just reflecting on those under 18 and under 20 women racing the 300 and 400 hurdles. After the Sir Graham Douglas, one of the things that Portia Bing said to me was that, she might be running 55 point, but if she can drag some of these girls through to a personal best or think about how they can then step up to another level, that's really meaningful as well. And so it's great to see, like we've talked about so much already this morning, when you do have someone at a certain high level, that it lifts the hope the inspiration and the motivation for the younger athletes.
And that's the other thing as well about when athletes go away to World Championships, World University Games, Youth Olympics, things like that, and they get in certain situations and you get that extra boost. You get the competitive edge. It really comes out because, yep, you could have been absolutely dominant in your sport, in your little pond. And all of a sudden you get set free in the ocean, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what's going on here? But then again, that in some people it will really sort of focus them into greater things again. So, we remember Joseph Miller talking about the opportunity he wants to get over. He likes it when there's someone of his speed in and around him. It's like he loved it when he had that opportunity a couple of years ago, Nitro Series, to race against the great man, Usain Bolt. He said it was great. It was the best thing ever because race is race. And it's that sprinting mentality is very much about a race. So it's great to have that. I know Tom Walsh has spoken about it as well, where he's had great domestic seasons and he'll just say, right, now it's time. I need to go over. I need to really start seeing where I stand against some of these other guys on the world stage. So talk about that camaraderie is such a good thing. Can really bring out the best in people. And we see all the different preparations going on for all the different events. It's a bit of a quiet start to the afternoon. That's James Hansen out of Tasman. Just going through a practice start there. It's a bit of a slow start, but I can tell you right now, when it all gets up and rolling, we're going to have bucket loads for you to watch here. We have 400 hurdles. Just the two athletes will be competing in that particular event. We see the Otago contingent. That's Luke Moffat and Liam Prouting Gardner just having a bit of a chin wag there in those familiar colours.
Speaking about international competitions, it's fantastic that our athletes will, touch wood, have the ability to travel this year. The likes of Oceanias is a really pivotal event for the development of athletics in New Zealand. And I really hope that we're going to send a big team. We've got an under-18 contingent, an under-20 contingent, and a senior contingent. So for those athletes that, perhaps the World Junior Standard, perhaps the World Championship Standard and Commonwealth Games Standards, there's a little bit out of their reach right now. Oceanias is an awesome opportunity to get out of New Zealand, like you say, get into that big pool and really get your teeth stuck into it.
And again, in recent times we've also seen some really good performances from those athletes going to Oceania Championships. So we hopefully get that opportunity. Just saw a good little shot there of that windsock there and just the direction that the breeze is going. It's a little more favourable, as I say, down the home straight. So as you see it from your screen, from blowing more from left to right, you can see just in that bottom left part there, you can see that little windsock there. There's another one there just to the left of the pole vault runway as that particular crew is getting themselves set and ready. And so that's an ideal spot. And I'd say those javelin throwers will be very pleased to see that breeze, and there'll be a few of the lads who competed this morning going, well, it would have been nice if we had it. There's a nice little warm-up clearance.
I think one of the things as an athlete that you really think about when you're warming up, and there's a lot of field eventers warming up right now, is actually whatever the wind's doing, you hope it's consistent, because you're trying to get your run-up sorted, you're trying to get your feel in, and then if there's all of a sudden switch in the wind, whether it's direction or force, then you spend the competition adjusting it, and instead of really getting into it. So regardless, as an athlete, you hope it's going to be in the same direction at the same force. But this is the nature of competition, the nature of the world, that you need to just be ready for anything.
So here is the men's pole vault. That's the field. Just the two competitors, Luke Moffat of Otago and Ty Rhodes out of Auckland. Once again, just this wee lull. And you know it's a wee lull when you see Loveridge just taking a very slow meander around a track and field venue. Normally moving at great pace and great purpose the photographer. You see Ty Rhodes. sitting and waiting. And some of our athletes waiting for the start of the 400. It's the 2 athletes that are going to compete in that particular event. Just a little bit slow to get going here. Conversations that are going on. That's a, can we just hurry up and throw face? If ever I saw one, Sarah Cowley-Ross.
That's Happy Moody.
Happy Moody is.
She's ready. We're ready.
She's like, come on, I'm good to go. Let's unleash.
Let's unleash.
Yeah, she's just like, yeah, we'll just take the time. That's what we were referring to there, and you can see that's from a javelin point of view, run up away to the left-hand side. That's really nice. They just want that breeze coming tight. If they are for a right-handed thrower, it would probably be more advantageous. It'd still be reasonably useful as well for the left, but definitely those right-handed javelin throwers who are primarily, they'll be really liking where that breeze is coming from at the moment.
Just looking at the crowd there, this 2 athletics legends, Dave and Lee Norris from Auckland. Incredible servants of athletics in New Zealand. Dave, a former national triple jump record holder, done lots of coaching over the years and lots of administration work for athletics.
Well, as you see, those 2 athletes just doing a little bit of a, not sure if it's a warm-up or a warm-down. We'll just take a short break here and we'll have plenty more to come from the opening day, the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships. You're watching Sky Sport Next.
Today, we are reinventing insurance. It's a game changer. Real-time intuition, light-speed empathy, a real heart and voice. It doesn't just understand what you're saying, it can feel it. Say hello to an actual human being.
Hi there.
Come on, let's go.
Stubborn gut? Life's easier when you feel in control.
Let's go, Flo.
Flo is made with kiwi fruit extract zyactinase and has prebiotics, fibre and enzymes to naturally support bowel health. And now there's Flo for kids.
We're proud of our country, mountains and streams.
Our Jennian culture, our nation, our team.
Partnering with people who share your values is important. To achieve gold medals, you've got to put the hard yards in. The Jennian team share that pursuit of excellence, giving their best every day. And they get the results. Well done on 40 years, Jennian. Thanks for being the team behind the NZ team.
Well, finally, we, as you welcome you back, looks like we're going to get some action as we look to the first heat of the 300 metres under 18 hurdles for men. Bo Brackenridge on the inside from Canterbury. Braxton Cody is in the lane alongside him. Running in lane number 5 is James Hansen. Ben Ward of Auckland outside of him, and Wiremu Knowles is in lane number 7. Looks as though it's Brackenridge and Cody on the inside. Brackenridge in particular. Really punching his way is Brackenridge and Cody. Clear out from the rest of the field. Oh, stride for stride over the hurdles now. We see Cody just get a little bit of a stretch, and he's going to pull away. That's a really nicely timed run, and a quick one as well by Braxton Cody. I reckon that's going to be around sort of 39s, possibly maybe even a smidge under. 39.02. Bo Brackenridge 39.08. That's a great run. Bo Brackenridge a PB for Beau Brackenridge listed at 41.04. And that's only been good enough for second, apparently. Just making sure that I'm reading that right. I have got the glasses on. So too Sarah Cowley-Ross. That's a big PB for Beau, and it's only good enough for second. Goodness gracious me.
I can see it a 39.47.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
So
that was...
maybe that's a recent result.
Maybe it is. Well, there we go. Christchurch, just a matter of last week, actually. So maybe those notes haven't quite been updated. But, gee, I tell you what, still...
Very close. Very close.
Well, we're
Great
talking about
run
Beau
by
Brackenridge. We should be talking about Braxton
Braxton
Carroll, who's got
Carroll.
39.02.
Not bad at all.
That is hauling from Braxton. A really good start. That's assisted by a reasonable breeze down the back straight, but as we keep pointing out, might help you down the back straight. You've still got to run into it, but we can very much feel the breeze starting to get a lot stronger, a lot stiffer. Now we will get ready for our next heat. There you see Abby Moody, who is getting ready. And this is the under-20 women's javelin. That's a great flight.
That's
and
a great
nice
start.
Over 40 metres for Abby. And she's underway.
So Abby's PB is 45.80, so she'll be looking for a strong performance today and off to a good start.
We see Zoe Hall out of Taranaki. Just waiting for everything to be cleared, so the runway opened up for her. Now we see our athletes again for the second heat. Nathan Brown, inside lane. Liam Prouting-Gardner, lane number 4. Lane 5, Avicha Kathosian. Luke Moffat and Hamish Gillett in the outside. And it is those two outside athletes, although Nathan Brown very much staying. Probably actually Brown who's got the better as we looked at that last stagger. Coming up now, it's Brown and Moffat taking it pretty much simultaneously. They appear to have kicked clear. Just keep an eye on Prouting-Gardner. He clattered that one up over the top. Brown, Moffat. Now Moffat just starts to move forward. There'll be a bit of a gallop here. Leans into it. It's a really good run there. And so it's going to be Luke Moffat in lane number 6. Making that heat, but the time, it's got to be said, will be significantly slower than what we saw. There you see a 41.69 from Luke Moffat. Nathan Brown with the 42.32. And then Liam Prouting-Gardner of Otago, 42.65. The first throw by Zoe Hall, 24.75. Just looking through as we get our technology starting to very much come up on stream for us. Again, you see, well, this one it's sort of blowing around and then just sort of lays dormant again. And then just sort of indicating see some of our athletes sitting around, waiting, chatting.
Just resetting the hurdles for the 400 metre events, 400 metre hurdle events that we'll have very shortly.
Although we just saw the women's triple jump, that's the under 20s. As Jenny gets underway, actually that may have been the first jump that we saw. We go here to Katie Bestel of Taranaki. And as you heard Sarah Kelly Ross allude to, just in the different direction. On there now, you saw how that one skidded. Did it leave a mark? It's Brie Ackland.
So you can see the flight of the javelin tells the athlete a lot about what they need to tidy up for the next round. And you can see that it just sat and floated a little bit. So in terms of throwing through the point, she needs to get that tip down a little bit for her really to get the power through the line of the jav.
To Abby Moody. And Brie Ackland with a throw of 34.69 for the Aucklander. That is see. As we head back over, that there is Tessa Beard out of Southland. Also not too far away from the men's 400 metres under 20 final. There's Beard. It's her first jump. Here comes Abby Moody. White flag.
Oh.
Good throw. Oh, sorry, that's for the jump. That was a white flag as well over on the javelin. Here is Abby. Sets that back nice. It's another good flight.
I like that.
45.71 for Abby Moody. 45 metres, 71 centimetres. Bouncing back and forth. We're just waiting for our. Here is Zoe. Fly that one there. It's a little bit awkwardly. You don't often see it sort of bounce and spin like that. The first throw was just under 25 metres. That one there looks as though she's got a little extra distance on that. Just wait and see what that distance is for Zoe Hall. And there you see Cameron Moffat and Flynn Johnston getting themselves ready for the 400 metres final. It was 26.6, by the way, for Zoe Hall. Moffat on the inside in the blue, Johnson on the outside in the green. It's Otago versus Manawatu Wanganui. And so Moffat on the inside has the advantage at the moment as they head down the back straight. 150 metres into their work as they take the next flight, and you can see Cameron Moffat's got the advantage at the moment. Johnston just trying to maintain his rhythm, just fell ever so slightly, just lost a bit of momentum. As they come around the top straight. One more flight before they enter. Cameron Moffat doing very nicely. Johnston's still just hanging in there if he's got a little bit. Now Moffat trying to surge, leaning forward. One more flight. Here comes Johnston. Oh, he just got over it. Moffat's going to get there first. Time around that 58-second mark. You heard a bit of an I think it might have been just an inhalation of air by Sarah Cowley-Ross, who I think was a bit concerned with the way young Flynn took that final jump. Cameron Moffat, 57.59. And Flynn Johnson, 58.17.
Yeah, that was a definite gasp of air on that final hurdle for Flynn there. I really thought he was going to hit the track, but managed to salvage it. And we're back at the javelin.
This is Brie Ackland.
Nice.
Leave the mark, and they're saying that's the point there, says the officials.
It's pretty tough for these athletes down the back straight. The wind did pick up for those guys. About a second off their PBs, but nonetheless, a national title for Cameron Moffat and a silver medal for Flynn Johnson.
Well, you've got to say, I mean, the breeze is pretty strong. It's getting up around 2.5 metres per second into and then obviously in behind, but that's still a pretty good effort from Cameron Moffat and from Flynn Johnson as well. And it's always hard as well when it's only the two of you out there too.
Good tussle though.
Very good tussle. Yep. Brie Ackland, that throw, by the way, 34.38 metres. And Abby Moody is back on the runway with a very solid opener under her belt. Go back to Tessa Beard. Here's Abby now. She's gone over. I don't know what's happened there. So we got right to the point of delivery. A little bit frustrated by that. You'll go straight for a bit of a walk. Not sure. She was all set. She gets it locked in and then just stops.
She was charging in, and it looked like she was almost going to be over the line, so held back. But also, if you notice that point of that jab, you really want to stick that to the side of your head. Just dropped a little bit, so she knew that she wouldn't be able to release it in the way that she would want to.
Here's Zoe Hall. She's just ticking away every single time she gets up. She seems to just be adding a little bit something more to it. It's Bernice Cullen of Otago and that under-20 women's triple jump. Just looking for the measurement to come through for Zoe Hall. It's been always 28.70, so again, just a nice little improvement. Our officials now are clearing the track of the hurdles. We're not too far away from the first final of our 100-metre age groups. Here is Sarah Hewlett out of Hawke's Bay Bay of Plenty. White flag, so they're happy with that. Straight away, Katie Bestel's onto the runway and getting herself ready to go. And you see the field that will compete in the under-18 women's 100-metre final, making their way out onto the track. The 261 is Talia Van Rooyen. She's already set a qualifying mark for the under-20 World Championships.
And the sun's out. The track's warming up. We've got a nice tailwind for these girls to run really fast.
Here is Bestel of Taranaki. We now see a bit of pole vault action as well. Bit of a halt over at the javelin. Just both these whistled through their first 3 rounds reasonably quickly.
It's like Luke Moffat there at the pole vault. He's just run the hurdles. No wonder he's tired.
Yep. I've done the 400-metre hurdles. Now I'm going to do the pole vault.
Great combo.
There's former decathlete Sarah Cowley-Ross.
Just chatting to him on the fence there is actually Paul Gibbons, who was a former New Zealand men's pole vault record holder. Be surprised if he's coaching him out of Otago. Went to the Atlanta Olympics, Gibbo did.
Poor
guy.
Well, Cameron has just run a 400 high hurdles, and Ty Rhodes has just watched him. So, great thing. We are talking about under 18 and under 20 athletes, and they're just so resilient. And you know for a fact he wouldn't have signed up for it if he didn't think he could do it. You get these schedules in advance. I know there was the odd tweak. Here's Tessa Beard.
So be ready.
Extension right through the end there from Tessa. Find it interesting too how you saw the wee holding pen where we saw our under 18 100 metres finalists. Love the fact that they've got to walk all the way around. The shorter route would just be to bring them up the home straight, but you've got to go all the way around. So a nice little, a very slow 300 metre amble. Here's Zoe Hall. Getting very close to that 30 metre mark is Zoe. Another white flag from our officials. The gentleman has been working at the hammer throwing cage. Now he's slid across to the javelin and back again.
We saw the cherry picker out after the men's event this morning, just fixing up the hammer cage.
There he is.
Oh, good on you, mate.
There you go, 3.38. So I'm going to run a sub 58 second 400 metre high hurdles, and then for my next trick, 3.36 in the pole vault.
Now, this is just an absolute recipe for decathlon Luke Moffat. Hopefully we'll see him in the multis in the future because he's tough enough for it.
My goodness gracious me, Terry Lomax has rejoined us in commentary. talent spotting. Hey.
Oh, goodness.
Well, we're getting ready as we see Ty Rhodes preparing for his vault. We are also getting ready for the final of the under 18 women's 100 metres. As I say, it's a really good field. It's highlighted by Talia Van Rooyen, who's run 11.89, which is 100th of a second underneath qualifying mark of 11.9. She won't have it all her own way. Got the Collette sisters out of Manawatu Wanganui. Michaela Fitzy of Tasman. Columbus, Canterbury. Lovely moment as well for Apomsa Tabi Apomsa of Hawke's Bay, Gisborne. She'll be running in lane number 1. Nice little buzz for her to qualify for a final on her home track. I'm sure she spends plenty of time out here.
Georgia Gibbons in lane 8 is actually the daughter of Paul Gibbons, who I was just talking about, former national record holder in the pole vault. Talia Van Rooyen, just keep in mind that she ran that time into a 3.2 headwind.
Into?
Wow.
Well, the breeze she's got at the moment, I don't know about you, Sarah, I'd like it just to dip slightly. Because, as we've been saying, it's very fluky, very shifty. Like as we sit here right now, it's good. And the best way I can describe it for you at home watching on Sky Sport Next is all our papers are doing is they're rustling.
Yeah, hovering.
But we have had instances, and we saw one just a matter of a couple of moments ago to our right, where our director-producer Chris took the tape that was holding his paper down off momentarily, and before you know it, he was sprinting 20 metres to go and grab that bit of paper because it had just been picked up and gone.
Great form too. Great form.
Good form.
That was Bernice Cullen from Otago at the women under 20 triple jump.
So we just sit and wait. And just sit and waiting for her clearance. There is Sarah Hewlett. Waikato, Vale Plenty. White flag goes up. So here we are, 100 metres. Timeout. Sponsoring this event. This is the final, first of our 4 sprint finals. There you see the lane allocations. W. Pomsa in lane number 1. Columbus 2. Adira Collette in 3. Van Rooyen in 4. Michaela Fitty in 5. Jayla Collette is in lane number 6. Gideon 7. Gibbons in 8. As you have a tendency to do, you're really looking 3, 4, and 5 is where you expect you want it to come from. You see, looking very relaxed. There is Maya Columbus. Now cut back to Katie Bestel of Taranaki. Yeah, I think she felt that one a little bit, not the landing she wanted. Put quite a lot of pressure on. Saw that little grimace as she just popped herself up. Cameron Moffat. Nicely. Bar at 3:53.
He'll be very happy to get that first attempt. Sit down, have a rest, while Ty Rhodes takes the next vault.
Go back to Tessa Beard of Southland. Looks and settles on the different pre-jump, pre-race, pre-throw routines. Got time to cut to Ty Rhodes. Up, and he clears comfortably. Plenty of space there. Beard. Just very ho-hum reaction to that one. This is Bree Ackland. So we head into the final three throws of the under-20 women's javelin. That one there looks like it's, well, it just snuck over that 30-metre mark. It's always tough when you've got to try and take in the arc. All right, well, they're in the starters blocks now for the 100 metres, so let's get to that. W. Pomsa in lane number 1, Columbus 2, Adria Collette in 3, Talia Van Rooyen in 4, Fitty in 5, Leah Collette in 6, Gideon 7, Gibbons 8. Good start, and Van Rooyen straight away showing out, and you can see the lovely sprinting form. The Collette sisters are really chasing hard. It's going to be Talia Van Rooyen. She's going to get to the line. Be interested to see what that time was, but it is Van Rooyen claiming the national title. And a lovely double as well for the Collette sisters. They're going to end up with silver and bronze. Whoa! 11.5. Win, though, at 3.1. That's sharp. That is sharp, but the win just a little bit too strong. Just so you understand how sharp that is, the national record is 11.55 for Briar Toop. But that wind speed, the wind speed we're seeing registered at plus 3.1 metres per second. It has got to be less than 2 metres per second. That's still pretty damn quick, it is fair to say.
That's phenomenal. That is really phenomenal. To come, to go under that national record, yes, it's windy, but to know that she's capable of that performance, this is a talent. And great to see the Collette sisters, and this is the future relay team, potentially members of in the future. So great sprinting there by those under 18 young women.
Just so to put it, to give you, there we see it right there. So your top 3 are under 12 seconds. Yep, wind assisted. However, as well, you look at it, 0.5 of a second in sprinting is a lot ahead of the remainder of the field. As I say, Talia Van Rooyen, she has already set a standard into a breeze as well, it must be said, for that under 20 World Championship. But that is really good sprinting. As I say, Bri Toop will still maintain that record, but just to get a nice little taste of the sprinting talent coming through at under 18 level.
And also great potential there for the Collette sisters to potentially go under that standard as well, now that they know they've got the legs in it.
Again, come down. How much was it? Talia helping. Drag. It's a great run. And what did I say? It was this morning. It was Adria over, I think it's Shayel. Guess what?
You're right. You're right.
Shayel, she'll have the last laugh in that household tonight
will.
because she's managed to get Adria when it counts. And that's what she'll be just chipping all day.
Yep.
Yeah, you ran well this morning. You don't win medals at the morning. You win them in the afternoon.
That's right. And maybe they'll turn that result around tomorrow in the 200s, potentially.
Oh, lovely to see. See Bri Acklin working through, chatting away. That was a great final. Great final, great run by Talia Van Rooyen. Another one of those names that you just want to put away at the back of your mind. Here is Bri Acklin. When the eye just saw it just flare up again. So the quick work, you see that trio there. This is where it landed in the background. The javelin is picked up and returned.
Everyone's got their job.
They're doing it well. Here's Cameron Moffat. Trying to clear 368. It's Tessa Beard of Southland. Oh, no, Tess is not happy with that one. Not happy with that one. There we see some more medals being handed out. We've got something. Oh, was it the drink bottle? Here's Abby Moody. There's a good one.
Whoa.
That's a very good throw. White flag up. There again will be around that sort of late 40s as we quickly cut back to Giselle Howard. And Ty Rhodes as well. Oh, clipped it on the way up. He had plenty to spare, but got it going up as opposed to going down. 46.90 for Abby Moody.
Huge PB for her. Old PB, 45.80.
Well, again, she's got great conditions this afternoon for the throwing. As you look down, we look back to Sarah Hewlett. That breeze just coming right down the back of our triple jumpers at the back of this man here, Cameron Moffat. I think pole vaulters, I would prefer just a little bit more consistency in the bream. You don't want it too puffy, too gusty. The last thing you want to do is get up to a certain height and then poof, quite exposed up on the end of the pole. And rocks back. Done that nicely. Did he go over that back first?
Yeah, he did. There's a bit of a dodgy technique there. But, hey, it doesn't matter. He's over the bar. And that's why he could be a decathlete. Because that reminds me of sometimes, they've got to the one of their final events in
talk
the decathlon.
it through this
And
one, Sarah.
Well, normally pole vaulters rock back and go up here and then turn around. Well, hey, look, I'm not going to judge because, first of all, not a pole vaulter. Second of all, I haven't just run a 400-metre hurdle race and then gone to pole vault.
It was kind of like, because obviously we're used to sort of seeing them rock back, go up, arc the body at the top and go over with the tummy sort of more likely to touch the bar. That one there, he's gone over. It's almost like the Crosby flop. Sort of gone over it that way. He's almost sort of arced his back to make sure it was. Or
sort of like a pole vault over a river. Over a little stream.
What they do over in Holland was it where they sort of put the pole in and they jump over the top of the the waterways over there.
But
Bottom
hey,
line,
he's
you know
over.
what?
He's over. So
all the judges has done, by the way, they just put a little cross by that mark. They haven't had to write any kind of description of how he did it. It's no different to golf. You don't write how you got the number, you just write the number on a scorecard. Same here when it comes to pole vault, high jump. Doesn't matter how it looks as long as you get over and you don't touch the bar, and that's what they've done.
No style points.
Here comes our next final, 100 metres men's, under 18. Caden Taylor of Auckland is in lane number 1. Leo Yusuf Wellington in 2. Ryan Nom, Hawke's Bay Gisborne in lane number 3. Ryan Schotter, Hawke's Bay Gisborne in 4. And I suspect the locals will be getting pretty keen when they see two of their athletes in lanes 3 and 4. Asher Pentacle Brand, though, was very good this morning in the heats. Ben Lambert's been running really well and didn't really extend himself through the prelims. Jacob Douglas, Waikato Bay of Plenty, and Joshua Lotsu of Wellington. I can actually see this being a really even race based on some of those performances we saw this morning. Again, Tessa Beard.
The action will be in the middle lanes.
Right, what's Abby Moody got? Just set a PB. She sends that. That's another good one. Similar sort of range to that previous one. We were joking with Abby about how she had that I just want to get on and start throwing face, and she's channeled a wee bit of that into her throwing. This is going to be fascinating 100 metres final. Cameron Moffat. He's back over there. I suspect right now the breeze has picked up, so from a sprinting point of view, they'll be pretty chuffed. The record at under 18 level is 10.19. Edward Osai and Kitia. A couple of years ago. Great to know. If you haven't heard, Edward has made the trip over back from Australia, and he will be competing on the weekend. So the Welton Osai and Kitia battle is on. Underway. Great start in the middle there by Schotter. Going with him, though, is Pentacle Brand. Now down the outside comes Ben Lambert to the line. Who's it going to be? I think the locals got it. I think Ryan Schotter's got it. Inside, always hard. It was a big finish by Ben Lambert. As we come down to the line, just that reverse angle. This will tell us Schotter. Great dip as well. Schotter, Lambert, Pentacle Brand. Hawke's Bay Gisborne. Gold for the home athlete.
What a race. 10.95, Ryan Schotter.
And the wind dropped enough as well, 1.4. So inside, that's a really good time. So under 11, 10.95, Lambert 10.98, and Pentacle Brand an 11 flat. That's great work. Ryan Schotter.
National under 18 100 metre champion. Great running by those young men.
Well, Ryland Noom as well coming through, 11.09. There's been really good running there. Sadly, Jacob Douglas not starting. And there was an issue there for Leo Youssef, not sure what that was. Ryan Shotter, your national champion, under 1800 metres, 10.95. Just by Ben Lambert. Ben's really good over the second half of the race. And I'm sure he'll be going back and just going, right, how do I get myself, that blocks that hair quicker. Well, that's a good race when your top three are covered by 5/100ths of a second. You see Cameron Moffat, Abby Moody, 46.69. That throw that we saw. So Abby, under 20 women's javelin national champ. Here is Ty Rhodes. Nice attack, rocks. And there you go again on the way up. And that's why you see a little bit of frustration, because he's actually clipping it on the way up as opposed to actually getting over the bar. He knows he's got plenty to play with.
So he's got a few options here. He can take his run up back, obviously, or he can move the upright forward to give him more space after he's planted the pole in the box.
What's generally what would they do in that situation? I mean, it's only the two of them competing. Does he go over to Cameron and say, hey, do you mind if we shift it? Or is it just easy just to nudge your marker back a couple? So
each athlete can choose where the uprights are for their own for their own individual run, and you'll see some athletes just where they're at on the day. They'll be at the uprights will be at different positions. So they want their best height over the bar, not to be forward of the bar or obviously back of the bar. So they have the ability to choose where they set the upright. So lots of variables in pole vault, but they're all knowledgeable about where they should be, and it's great that their coaches are allowed in the stadium to be able to give them that feedback as well.
Here's 400 metre hurdles now onto the pole vault, as we said. If you are just joining us, so glad you're with us. This is coverage on Sky Sport Next of the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships 2022 Day 1 action, featuring under 18 and under 20 athletes. You'll see that again tomorrow. Then on Saturday and Sunday, senior and our wonderful para athletes will be performing. The young man on your screen's name is Ty Rhodes. Getting himself set. See if he makes that adjustment. Up. And again. Yeah, there's that frustration. You see the slap of the left hand.
You can see the real difference as we go up the age groups throughout the weekend in the pole vault technique and their ability to, go on bigger poles, which means they can go back to our physics lesson of this morning of javelin. Pole vault is an awesome example of, length of lever, takeoff position. And the longer the pole is, obviously, the more opportunity there is for energy to be stored for the athlete to get high heights.
So, shaking of hands over there at the pole vault. See a little bit of frustration there, though, showing still on the face of Ty Rhodes. More of a chat as the scorekeepers come in, the other officials. We're not too far away from the final of the women's under 20 100 metres. There we see our athletes warming up for the under 18 discus. So we haven't seen the under 20s. That was straight to a final, if memory serves. So Annie Peasley will be in lane number 1. Lily Cockram of Canterbury. Lane number 2, Kiana Pohi, Waikato Bay of Plenty. Lane 3, Nadia Evans in 4. You see our athletes just getting themselves ready for the next throwing event. And they're going into the skipping out. Don't have to worry going, oh, is that a foul? No, just going through their warm-up. Just getting loose, getting into it. It's a good field in this one as well.
Good field and a big field. It's awesome to see all these young women.
Also as well, we're going to see names doubling up, as we saw from the hammer throw earlier on. So the likes of Losaleni Lose will be competing. We'll see Michaela Sola again, who won that hammer throw. See, just starting to just loosen up, nothing more. Really put in the big effort, just getting the muscle going, getting themselves set. And they will look to unleash, as they like to say. So that was Zoe Rutherford, who we saw competing in the hammer throw. Waiting now, there's just a nice little quiet bit of anticipation as action is finished over at the triple jump and also at the pole vault. And here we are now, the under 20 women. So it is, Pearsley is in lane number 1. Lee Cockram is in lane number 2. Kiana Pohi, lane 3. Nadia Evans in 4. Maria Vanetta in lane number 5. Sarah Hewlett, lane 6. Samantha Cork is in lane number 7, and Hayley Bond of Tasman, the outside lane. The national record at under 20s level is held by Zoe Hobbs. She set that in 2016, 11.53. She is the current New Zealand 100 metres record holder at senior level. Big thanks to the team at Time Out for their sponsorship of the sprints. And there's confirmation of that lane draw. Pearsley 1, Cockram 2, Pohi 3, Evans 4, Vanetta 5, Hewlett 6, Crook in 7, and Bond is in 8. So all is set. Starter up onto his stand. The adjustment. All is in readiness, and we're in the starter's hands. Under 20, 100 metres final. Very even start. Vanetta moving very nicely though, and she is gliding away. She's going to take some catching, and they're not going to. It's going to be her teammate Evans who's going to come through seconds, but that's nice running. Maria Vanetta. She wins from Nadia Evans. I think it might have been Kiana Pohi on the inside. Let's have another look and see who gets the bronze. And that was a very good run. 11.92 by Maria Vanetta. Nadia Evans 12.18. And who's it going to be? Kiana Pohi, only just. 12.3, Hayley Bond on the outside, 12.32. So it is a national title for Maria Vanetta. Silver to Nadia Evans, and bronze, Kiana Pohi.
Great run there by Marielle. Narrowly missing the World Junior Standard, and her old PB was 12.11. So take that.
Good
and a
win.
1.6.
Yep, just to confirm it as well, the 1.6 is very important. So right now, this is These are really good sprinting conditions. You're allowed up to 2 metres per second behind you. As soon as it goes over that, and sort of these standards, records, we're only talking 200ths of a second outside. The standard is 11.9. We've already seen Talia van Rooyen has already posted that, and as was pointed out by Sarah Carly Ross, she actually did that into a 3 metre per second headwind when she set her time. We've seen her come out and run 11.5 seconds in the under 18s, but with a 3+ behind her. Maria Veneta, good sprinting.
Great sprinting, and I'm just looking at some of the selection policy for World Juniors on the relay team because
don't you already know it by memory?
Oh, there's quite a few policies that have to be across, so no, I'm not going to lie, I don't know it off by heart. But Van Rooyen, the Collette sisters, Veneda, apologies. Wouldn't that be great to see them on the World Junior stage?
Well, we saw both the Collette sisters running under 12 as well. There's another one. In terms of it, and I don't expect you to know, obviously, sort of chapter and verse, but in terms of when a national body is looking at a relay team, does it need to be everyone under a certain number? Do they have to go underneath, the 11.9 that is set? Or does it have to be, again, look, if we get people in and around that, if they're all running underneath 12 seconds, is that where we sit there and we go, wow, mate, do we give it a nudge? We all know that relays are lotteries.
They are a
How
lottery,
do we do?
But we need them to run 45-40 to qualify, and with the likes of those girls, that's definitely capable, but they do first and foremost need to do that.
So they've got to do it as a collective?
As a collective.
There we go. And there's the lineup for the men's under 20 100-metre final. Again, big thanks to Timeout, our sponsor. And this is a good field. It's a really good field that you just saw. Joshua Price, Gurpreet Singh, Ollie Kirshner, Hamish Moore, Zach Saunders, Lex Revel-Lewis, who's also set a mark already in the 400 metres for those same under-20 World Championships. Liza Campbell and Mark Agnew. 3 Cantabrians, 2 Aucklanders, Otago, Wellington and Waikato Bay are plenty represented as well.
Great sprinting conditions here in the Hawke's Bay. This is why the sprinters love coming here to run fast. You've always got the possibility of that nice tailwind and the track's warming up, which will definitely help these young men get down there fast.
So lanes to keep an eye out for. It looks as though we may have lost. No, we haven't. Josh was just down the track having done his warm-up. So Ollie Kirshner's been around for a while. Talking with Terry Lomax this morning, probably won't be too far away from his move up into the senior ranks. Zach Saunders can move. Lex Revel-Lewis, as I say, he's already set a standard over 400 metres. But was, again, also very impressive this morning in his prelim. Zach Saunders, you see, just standing there. 2-3-1 in the Auckland singlet. He's quite happy. Here's Ollie Kirshner, you see, wearing the Wellington colours. 6.84. When we talk about the under-20 record, funnily enough, it's the same as the under-18 record. It's that set by Edward Osai-Nketia in April 2019. 10.91. So just a reminder as well, for those of you watching maybe unaware or aware of the fact that Edward has been back in Australia with his family, has been competing over there, putting up some nice times. Edward has made the trip over. He will be competing on the weekend. So Tian Velpton, who's been dominating the set, the sprinting scene, the male sprinting scene, manner very akin to what Zoe Hobbs has been doing for the female sprinters. He will have his good mate, and they are good mates. Some cracking post-race interviews together. They clearly get on. And that great example of the ability to make one person, the ability to bring another one along with them as well. Nice there to see Kirshner shaking hands as we see Michaela Sola.
So basically what we're saying is cancel your plans for Saturday. Well, actually, for the next few days.
No, actually, all you need to do, can you just block out around 10.5 seconds starting at 2:50? Can you do that for us?
At 2:50?
2:50, is it?
Well, no, because they'll be over. So 2:30.
Well, they'll be over by 2:31. So
2:35 is the 100-metre men's final on Saturday, the 5th of March. But you want to join us all day because it's going to be a cracker of a weekend.
Well, I mean, just you've seen a great example of it here, just with the young athletes we are seeing, and obviously, we get the big guns coming out to play on the weekend. We've mentioned the sprinters, and rightfully so, but you've got great middle distance athletes coming out and in good form as well. James Preston's running really nicely at the moment. Santana is going to be here. We get to see Tom Walsh and Jack O'Gill. Chucking a bit of Ryan Ballantyne for a bit of fun with that one too. Madison Wishy with an opportunity as well in the shot put. I guess now for Madison, it's going to be different for her, isn't it?
It will be different for her.
She's now going to be the focal point because the big shadow is no longer there.
Yeah, and, big shoes to fill, literally.
Size 14s. Val, let us all know that you're size 14s.
She let us know. But what we saw from Tokyo, Maddie Weshi, was she stood up.
Yes.
She looked like she belonged there and she loved it. And she has got a fantastic opportunity to carve her own path, I think, with respect to Dame Valerie. Yep. Maddie is a different athlete, and she's got a great future ahead of her.
What Maddie will do as well is she will inspire.
Absolutely.
And that's the great thing. There you go. Ollie Kirshner looking very loose. And lane number 3, he's got a bit of the bob on. He might have a bit of tune going in his head there. Gurpreet Singh.
Great to see the swagger is cemented early in the sprinters.
They don't need encouraging, do they? Gurpreet Singh looking very relaxed in lane number 2. Next to him out of Waikato Bay of Plenty, Joshua Price is in lane number 1. Let's go through it. Lane 1, Joshua Price. Lane number 2, Gurpreet Singh. Lane number 3, it's Ollie Kirshner. Lane 4, Hamish Moore. Lane number 5, Zachary Saunders. Lane 6, Lex Revel-Lewis. Lane number 7, Elijah Campbell. And on lane number 8, Mark Agnew. 2 Canterbury on the outside lanes. 2 Auckland alongside. Otago, Wellington and Waikato Bay of Plenty. Singular representation in the third of the Cantabrians in the inside lane, Joshua Price.
10.60 is the World Junior Standard that these boys are chasing.
Wind drops a little bit as well as they get themselves set. All capable, but I think if you look at lanes 3 through 6, you're not going to go too far wrong. Good clean start. Really good start by Saunders. Kirshner up 2. Campbell's putting in a good run down the outside. Kirshner starts to dig. Oh, this is going to be tight to the line. He gets there though to Saunders. Just from Kirshner. Then I think it might have been Campbell flashing down the outside. Good race. 10.71. Zach Saunders. Kirshner with a 10.77. And then was it Campbell coming through in third? Yes, it was. So there we go. 10.86 for Campbell. Revel-Lewis 10.89. First 5, 11 seconds or less.
Great sprinting there from these young men. Unfortunately, the wind plus 2.4, but again, great to see these races really going down to the wire.
Tell you what, there was an absolutely cracking wee battle on the inside that we haven't sort of seen because we've been focused on the top 3. As you do, top 4, you wonder who the medals is, but I tell you what, have a look at Gurpreet Singh there and Joshua Price. dead heating. That was in lanes 1 and 2. So that was a great wee tussle by them, but Zachary Saunders, your men's under 20, 100 metres national champion for 2020. Ollie Kirshner, 10.77. And Campbell of Canterbury, 10.86. We see the 300 metre under 18 hurdles. Actually, no, that's the 400 metres, excuse me. The medal ceremony that's about to take place.
Oh, winner Maggie Jones there. Great run from her.
Teammate from Vanuatu Wanganui, Marty, and some of Diana Ferraz. Yeah, so we're not too far away as well. Discus just starting to warm up. There's a bit of activity starting to lurk around the place. The javelin, that is done. And so we've got the discus to get underway. There's as I say, it's a big crew for the discus, that's for all. There you see the high jump as well. There's Maggie Jones getting her gold medal. Murray McKinnon there doing the announcing. So the sprinting is done for the day. Well, they put on a lovely wee show. Talia Van Rooyen, 11.5 seconds. Did have the benefit of that breeze behind her, but still, it was some great sprinting and another name to add to that ever-growing list of good depth.
And I would say that Briar Toop's record is one of the oldest standing records in the books for athletics, so wouldn't it be great if she could get over that?
In terms of sprinting?
In terms of sprinting.
Yeah. Well, again, she was another outstanding young athlete.
Absolutely.
Wonderfully talented. See there, that breeze, and that's just giving you the indication there, as I said, that last race with the 2.4. It's highlighted just how sort of puffy and gusty it really is. So our focus now should very much start to centre on the discus. And you see our field. They are just sitting, waiting there in a holding mode. They're around about 5 seconds away from, 5 minutes away, I should say, from getting that one underway. So it might be, it's just we have a very small period of inactivity. We might just step away just for a moment, but we will be back shortly here as you watch the afternoon session, the opening day of the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships of 2022. It's been proudly presented by Sky Sport Next.
We know a country where the food offering spans from pick your own to picking it up from a roadside stall or farmer's market, to taking your pick from restaurant menus that are as good as anywhere in the world. And so is the wine. But this country is not too far away at all. And yes, you're very, very welcome to travel here. This country is food and wine country. But you probably know it as Hawke's.
Partnering with people who share your values is important. To achieve gold medals, you've got to put in the hard yards. The Jennian team share that pursuit of excellence, giving their best every day, and they get the results. Well done on 40 years, Jennian. Thanks for being the team behind the
Hits Live Free is back. Listen out for the key songs weekdays on the Hits. Hear it, call, and go in the draw to win one of 5 keys that could unlock the Hits Live Free safe. 1 year, no rent, no mortgage. The Hits.
Well, you can see just those advertising hoardings in the background, just showing just how the breeze has picked up this afternoon. It was quite overcast and the breeze was nowhere near as strong as what you're seeing there. Being shown by the little windsock, I don't know what the technical term is. Looks like a bit of a squid. It's blowing there nicely, but it gives you the indication of which way the wind is blowing, which is what it's designed to do. Just ignore the commentators' mental lapse right there.
We'll call it a windsock.
It is a breezy day, but what it has done is it's really pushed that cloud. It was quite overcast, and as I said, we saw the javelin throwers this afternoon. Abby Moody put it to really good effect. And we're not too far away from the start of that discus. Also as well, under 20 women's 5,000 metres. That is a 5-woman field. Just look at the high jump over there, and again you see another one of the yellow and black windsocks there, just sort of an indication for the athletes as they're lining up.
Otherwise known as squids.
Otherwise known as squids.
Big field for this discus, 16 girls on my count. It's wonderful to see, but they don't start the event before the time.
Yeah,
at national championships.
Yeah, very regimented, very much so, and you can understand why. There you see that field for the women's 5,000 metres under 20s. Thank you very much to the Shoe Clinic for their sponsorship of this particular event. Stella Hammond of Auckland, Holly Harding of Pakaranga, Hannah Gapes and Jemima Antonazi, Waikato Bay of Plenty and Sequoia Prentice of Canterbury. This will be interesting to see how this plays out in terms of tactics, if there are any. You normally see a little bit of tactics in these sort of events. Or as someone does what we now refer to as the Hayden Wild and just go out and run. And if you want to hang with me, hang with me. Hayden, of course, is going to be involved on the weekend with the senior events. What's he defend? He's going for a three-peat. Hayden Wild.
He's been in great form, and last weekend at the international track meet, he was racing the mile, which is quite short for him. And I tell you what, it looked like he was going to come second, and then on the line he came through. That's what happens when you've got a ridiculous VO2 max. You're in peak condition, and you've got this steely grit.
I was about to say, I think the part you was hates losing.
Hates losing.
Loves, or the other way to do it is just loves competing.
Yeah. Yeah, and the weekend before at the Sir Graham Douglas, he paced his friend Julian Oakley through 800 and the 1500. Then he decides, while I'm here, might as well do the 5K.
I've warmed up.
I've warmed up. we didn't. I was like, who's that Hayden Wild running the 5K? And he said, oh yeah, I felt good. So he ran around in his Ray-Bans, and like you say, when he wants to race, when he wants to run fast, he'll commit and he'll get on the pace he wants to.
But it's quite extraordinary, because I think we saw one of those national championships. I couldn't remember which one. It might have been last year, but I think it was run on the Saturday. And he was competing in a sprint level triathlon the next morning at Kinloch. And there we are. We are underway. This is the 5,000 metres, the under 20 women. Heading to the front, that is Jemima Anastasi of Waikato Bay of Plenty. On the inside, it's Hannah Gapes. We go back to Sequoia Prentice of Canterbury. Have they actually started, or is this just a training run? They're just absolutely meandering along at the moment, so maybe this might be a little more of a tactical race than what we thought. The other two athletes, Stella Hammond of Auckland and Holly Harding, Pakaranga. Holly just sitting at the back at the moment, just having a wee check of the watch, going, yep. We're through our first 200. 12 more laps to go in the 5,000 metres. We're very much looking forward to the arrival tomorrow of our good friend Hayden Shearman. This is the stuff that he absolutely loves. Loving the contrast we've got with all the people to provide the expert analysis. You've got the great multi-events knowledge of the likes of Terry Lomax and Sarah Cowley-Ross, and then you bring in the likes of a Hayden Shearman and his knowledge with regards to those middle and long distance events. It's absolutely wonderful to see. We see some warm-ups now for the high jump. Nice and mellow. There is Rosalini Losse, first throw. There catching the edge of the throwing cage. And this morning they were using the hammer circle at the other end, directly opposite, another high quality throwing facility. Here we go, 11 laps to go, and it's continuing to pace them through now as Sequoia Prentice, who's moved to the front. Hannah Gapes just dropped him behind. There's Chita Jane Skelton. Ngava. Another one there that has not required any use of the measurement. So just working their way down, and it's into again the breeze, which, as we say, it's very fluky at the moment. There you see one from Ella Hogan. But it's interesting that it just seems to be stiffening up quite a lot now. So it's going to be a decent old slog down the back stretch for these 5 ladies. And you see them just coming around the top mark, and they'll be pretty pleased to get that wind at their back as they come down the front straight. When they do come down, you'll see that they've just got 10 more circuits to complete. So that's Prentice, Gapes, Stasi, Hammond, Harding. This here is Susanna Keneally of Auckland. That one there. A bit of a line drive into right field, but that's over 40 metres. Good spot. We'll wait to see. Measurement hopefully will come up for us. Keneally, 43.30 for Susanna Keneally. Nora Quigley is moving into the circle as our athletes in the 5,000. Work down the backstroke again. Here is Nora. That one there just catches the edge. We saw Nora competing in the hammer this morning. Now that quintet is a quartet, as we see Prentice, Gapes, Anastasi and Hammond just start to drop Holly Harding. Now the front straight. Just a very comfortable pace at the moment, not really pushing it. Prentice just got a nice wee rhythm. Over in the discus circle, it's the lady who this morning on the hammer throw. There she is, Michaela Sola. Yeah, just over 30 metres, in and around that sort of a mark. As Sarah Cowley-Ross alluded to this morning, of course, the father, Shaka, that wonderful throwing academy down in Wellington, made the joke as Michaela throws 35.62. Just made the joke, you'll probably hear Shaka before you see him. And she was right.
Malo lava Shaka. Great to have all the Solar Ayunga here.
Well, it's just great. You just love his Kate Haley. So the breeze is getting that one there. What it is again, it's the great personality. And you can understand he's got wonderful charisma, very passionate. And what I also liked as well as he watched his daughter step onto the top pro, you can see the pride. Absolute pride.
Yeah, wonderful to see.
You talk about Aanga, you talk about Whānau, and that's what Shaka, who I do not know very well. I've heard the reputation. I've seen him a couple of times, but he just oozes that. I don't know him nearly as well as what other people do, but you just look at him and just go, yeah, that's a proud man.
Yeah.
It's a proud man, good man.
Proud of his community and doing great things in the hut. And this year got Continental Tour status for his throwing event, which was the day after the Capital Classic. So that's a really big milestone.
It's massive. There was Orla Motley, another one doing double duties, having done the hammer this morning. Prince is looking very comfortable at the front. Sequoia just setting a nice tone. Hannah Gapeson behind. Anastasia again just on the trail there. And sitting at the back, Stella Hammond. It's looking very comfortable. The smaller of the four athletes. It's getting a good wee block actually going down that back straight into the breeze. Holly Harding, it's not like she's got dropped. It's not like it's absolutely weighed anchor. It's just been little bits here and there. Now, Anastasia just looking to possibly just come off the back of Hannah Gapes here. Just keep an eye on Jemima as we come into this front straight. It's number 595. And now she actually just resettles in. So they continue just to run single file at the moment. Harding, to me, might actually just be picking it back ever so slightly.
Actually came across Hannah Gapes at this year's Bay of Plenty Sports Awards, winning the Junior Female Athlete of the Year. She's coached by Jason Cameron, Athletics New Zealand Competitions Manager. He's working long hours this weekend, but she's off to the US on a scholarship midway through the year.
I saw a discus throw there by Savannah Mataonga out of Auckland. 32.74 for Savannah. Is Hannah any relation? There was a high jump, was Lizzie Gapes? I'm trying to think of who think of Elizabeth Gapes. I'm wondering.
Oh no,
no?
Liz Lamb.
Liz Lamb, sorry.
Liz Lamb.
Sorry.
Her married name is Gapes.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah,
So no, definitely not. No.
But Hannah Gapes from Rotorua, trains in the Redwood
Righty-ho,
Forest.
thank you.
To my knowledge, no relation, but happy to be corrected on that.
No, straight away when you mentioned the married point, was not aware of the fact that.
I was actually thinking, who's Liz Gapes? But I can be
Lizzie,
Liz Lamb. I knew her as.
Yes, right. So that's just again my appalling memory.
No, not at all. I'm impressed that you know her married name.
I'm just trying to remember. Well, funny enough, I was going to say I'm trying to think actually if I remember her being Liz Lamb myself, and maybe that's what caused my confusion. But I'm sure she must have.
Yeah. I think you would have called her.
Anyway,
back in the day.
Kind of a moot point.
We're here now in the Hawke's Bay, watching these young women get into their work. 6 laps to go.
Well, it's just been a really steady rhythm, and all 4 of them seem pretty comfortable with it. Again, Prentice has really done the vast majority of their hard yards at the front. We've seen Gapeson, Intanazi and Hammond really just quite happy just to hang in there, and the pace is so consistent that initially it looked like they were just steadily dropping Holly Harding. You sort of saw it, a couple of metres sort of in time. Harding's still not that far behind this group you're seeing on your screen right now as they go around the top bend, and there we see great work. There's Holly Harding there, and you wouldn't say that's insurmountable. She's not exactly struggling either. You could actually say, Sarah, that Holly's actually probably pulled back a little bit in the last sort of maybe 2-3 laps. There'll be 5 to go when they come down here.
She doesn't look uncomfortable.
Doesn't look uncomfortable at all. Mind you, all of them look very relaxed. As we say, it's Sequoia Prentice at the front, just pacing them through. Here's Zoe Rutherford. throw. It's the late 20-metre mark. 29.66, in fact. 29.66 for Zoe Rutherford. Here's her in. That spot here is Rena Maka unleashing a beauty in the background as the 5,000 metre girls continue to work their way. These young ladies working very nicely. And now Harding's just chipping away. Now Prentice continues to lead from Gapes, from Antonazi, from Hammond. They come down, they'll have 4 more laps to go. Just very comfortably. There's Holly Harding. You don't say no. 42.24. That's a very good throw by Maka. There's Shia Beatty. Listed in 3rd at the moment. Rips that a little bit lower. All red flag though, so foul throw. Now we see a move from Gapes and Antonasi. 4 to go. At the old mile mark. 2 girls from Waikato Bay of Plenty decide, right, let's just push it up a little bit. And straight away you can see that duo just put a little bit of space in between them. Prentice and Hammond. Harding still there. She's not going away, Holly. But now you see the groups, the Waikato Bay of Plenty teams of teammates of Gapes and Antonasi. They've cleared out. Now Hammond says, look, maybe if I want to try and get onto, I'm going to need to go, but I wonder if she's given them too much of a start. Prentice just starting to fade as that pace just got lifted. So Gapes again continues to just sit in front. So go back over, watching this throw from Chitardane Skelton. So there you see now the break that these 2 young ladies have got, Gapes and Tanasi. So they have 3 more laps to go. Both the other runners are sort of moving very freely. You don't see them struggling as such. Here's Ella Hogan, a local athlete, Hawke's Bay, Gisborne. You see Gapes head to just one side. Anastasia looking very comfortable. Now Hammond trying to put on a wee bit of a spurt there. Back to Sequoia Prentice. Then Holly Harding. Here's Susanna Keneally. Wow, wonderful speed. That's a good throw. She was leading after round 1.
Brilliant levers.
Great speed across the throwing circle. You saw a very long athlete. Now, official waits patiently. We wait for the measurement to come through. 46.25 for Susanna Keneally. 2 laps to go. 800 left in this one. And it's a bit of a match race between Hannah Gapes and Jemima Anastasi. Nora Quigley with her throw. Be interesting to see how this one plays out. You see them coming around by that same discus area. Now, Antonasi again, every once in a while she just sort of pokes out. Then she'll sort of drop back and again use the shield. The body in front as they go down the back straight. At what point does Jemima, if she's going to make her move, what point is she going to look to do it? Here is Michaela Sola. I mean, already won a medal today, gold medal too, in the hammer. 7th after that first round. Antanazi. They come onto the home straight now. Just starts to go up onto the shoulder of Hannah Gapes. They come down. Take the bell. So, Gapes still on the inside. Antanazi. Just move to the outside now. They are clear. There's the bell. Here's Kate Haley. And now we see Gapes accelerate. Antanazi trying to go with her. Just saw a little spurt from Hannah. And Antanazi trying to hold tight. Again, she just tries to extend and dig, but now she's hanging in there. Now has Jemima got a question to ask? 2:50 to go. Gapes puts on another spurt down the back straight. There's Holly Harding coming through. There's Gapes again. Antanazi, does she have anything left? Gapes really starting to stride out now. Is that the decisive break? She's really digging in. If Antanazi's got anything, she's got to go. She's got to go now because she's only got just over 100 metres. And Hannah Gapes, nope, she's gone. That's a great run by Hannah Gapes. And she's really powering her way down to the line. And she will win the under 25,000 metres, and that meant something to her. Jemima Anastasi's going to take silver. And Holly Harding, who has timed her run very well, she is going to come through. And Holly Harding of Pakadanga takes the bronze. Then it's Stella Hammond. And leading them, bringing them through is Sequoia Prentice, who did a lot of real hard work early on in that race. But it is Gapes, Anastasi, Harding, Hammond, Prentice, 1 through 5 in the under-20 women's 5,000 metre finals. and Holly spent.
You picked it though, Holly Harding coming through. She didn't give up. Just held on the back of that pack for so long and then just went about her work.
Well, it wasn't like she was like, as I say, it wasn't like just sort of, dropped anchor and just stopped going. She had a really nice rhythm to it. It was on a different rhythm to what the ladies in front of her had. Gapes with a time of 18 minutes, 7.5 seconds. It was 3 better than Anastasi. You look at the times, 18:36 for Sequoia Prentice over 5Ks. Some of us would kill for that over 3Ks, just quietly.
Absolutely.
So that's really nicely done as we see now over to the high jump. Savannah Atoanga, 30.6. 9th spot as we have another Wellingtonian moving in. Anna Allison Lupena. See, and that one there just drifts out. I have a funny feeling there must be some 800 metres coming up very, very shortly. Is it not too far away?
You're right there, Nigel. I think we've got Angie Petty subbing in for a bit of expert knowledge.
I was about to say, could we have found someone better on this? I doubt it greatly. Very much looking forward to having the knowledge of Angie Petty joining us very shortly to provide some analysis there. So we've got the high jump going at the moment. We've got the long jump, the shot put going. Keep an eye on all these different events. There you see the high jump over here. Here's Emma Woodman. Manawatu Wanganui. So, by the way, just so you know, the high jump 1.78 is the height of the bar at the moment. Waiting for the measurement there of Emma Woodman's throw in the under 18 discus. And 27.25 for Emma. And Zoe Rutherford continues her busy day of hammer. And now this one here with the discus again. Red flag raised as it goes into the side. So we're looking at the 800 metres due to get underway very shortly. Is about to do the medal ceremony for the under 20 100 metres. Just keeping an eye on the discus throw as well with Rena Maka, who's in there. Oh, just caught that edge there. So that's Rena moving out, and Sarah Cowley-Ross, who's done a wonderful job this afternoon. As I said, we've been very lucky to have Sarah Cowley-Ross. We've had Terry Lomax, and I'll just get Angie Petty just to go like this and turn that around like that there. And that is perfect, and it's right there, and it's absolutely lovely to be able to welcome Angie Petty into the commentary box for the National Championships. And I'm sure there'll be a few people sort of wondering. There's a very good reason why you are not competing, but I believe that you're doing a little bit of coaching nowadays, eh? I see you've got a little group sort of floating around.
That's right. Yeah, no, my husband and I coach about up to 50 athletes in Christchurch. A lot of them are a little bit younger, but we've got about 30 high schoolers, and yeah, they've been doing really well down there. So for the last couple of years, we just kind of got that going, and very excited to have 13 of our athletes competing up here at Nationals this weekend.
How does it feel to be coaching as opposed to being coached?
It feels quite interesting, actually. You still get very nervous, a different kind of nervous when it's not yourself racing. But yeah, very special, and seeing how far all these athletes are coming, and obviously they're still young, so we're nurturing them, making sure that they don't overtrain and just continue to build towards those senior years. But heaps of PBs and heaps of top ranks in the countries at the moment, so hopefully they can pull out some medals this weekend.
That was Losalina Losse from Waikato Bay of Plenty. We saw just with her next throw in the under 18 women's discus. We've also got some high jump action going on as well. There you go, that bar. Oh, just that one's been clipped off. That competition being sponsored by the Hits. Just wait for this measurement for Losse, who's actually moved in the second spot, 43.28. It's a good throw for Losse. We've got a bit more action as the officials down in front of us just work through some of the prelims for our next on-field track action.
Women's under 18 800. Very excited for this race.
And so who will you be watching? I guess first of all, do you have athletes competing here?
Yes, we do. So we've got Kira Hall, Rosario Gibson and Sam Lascelles in this 800. Kira and Rosario are ranked number 1 and 2 in New Zealand in the under 18s this season. So hopefully they can pull out the medals, and a lot of other fast girls there too, though.
It's a big field of 14.
That's right.
I'll tell you what, I'll take the first part so you can get the stopwatch going.
Yeah.
So she is in full coach mode and commentary mode as well as Angie Petty.
Not myself.
Lovely to have her as part of our commentary team here on Sky Sport Next. There's a little bit of concern.
Interesting to see them starting from a waterfall start like this and not in lanes. I didn't expect this. So hopefully the girls don't get too pushy in that first 50 metres.
So now they get themselves set. And they're away. And straight away, they do get pushy as they look to try and find their space. And it's so hard. You've got to remember, normally for 800 metres, they're starting allocated lanes, staggered.
That's right. It's a very different start. So I thought they were going to double them up, so we didn't expect this at all, but the girls will have to adapt.
Right, so as we quickly punch back to the high jump, let's have a look at that next attempt, and then we'll slot back here and try and get the majority of this 800 metres race, which will be is being run at a reasonable clip at the moment as they go through 200 metres.
That's right, and it's Kira Hall at the front, so she's aiming to go out at a really good pace. She's run a 2:08 800 metres this season, which is under the 2:09 World Junior qualifier for the under-20s, and she's only 16 years old, so she's wanting to get a good time. We've got Rosaria Gibson just in behind her, and then Sam Lascelles. Can't quite see who that is in from Auckland, but I can see Kate Borton in 5th place.
So they're moving really nicely, and this is a decent sort of a pace, and I don't have to worry about splits because coach is going to take care of that for me. Well, what's that, about 56 seconds?
Yeah, 66 seconds. So a little bit slower than she would have actually liked through there, but I think after that first 100 being so messy, she did get a bit stuck, a bit boxed in there, I saw. So she might be a bit disappointed with going through in that time, but let's see if she can make it up on the second lap.
Well, she's got 300 metres to go. She really strides, and that breeze has just dropped a little bit. So it's not going to be as taxing, but this is a really nice, lovely stride that she's got in her. She hits the 200 mark, and again, there'll be another check of the watch by Angie Petty, I'm sure.
They're looking good. That's right. Rosaria still in second, and Sam still holding third at the moment. So we've got Canterbury 1, 2, 3 at the moment. And who is that in Auckland? Is that Lucy Sheenan, maybe, I think, coming around in Auckland in 4th place, and then Kate Borton. So they're all pulling away, but it's still Kira Hall well ahead with 100 metres to go.
What has she got left in the tank? She's striding really nice, head down.
She had a wee glance back, but she's really finishing strong. And I can't help but want to cheer for her. Kira's looking really awesome, holding on to that first place and still running a really good time after a slow first lap.
Yeah, looking
Rosaria
around
second,
2:12.
Sam third, and I think that was Lucy Sheenan in 4th place.
There was indeed Lucy Sheenan coming through, but it's a Canterbury 1, 2, 3.
That was incredible, yeah. They'll be so stoked.
We'll just see if the time will be coming up very shortly. It looked around 2:12, somewhere in that sort of wheelhouse.
That's right. So a wee way off her PB, but after a messy start, at the end of the day, the most important thing is the titles and the medals here, so they should all be really wrapped.
There we go. We got confirmation there. Kira Hall with the winning performance, 2 minutes 12.26. Rosaria Gibson of Canterbury, 2:13.75.
And a massive personal best by Sam Lascelles in 2:14.10. Her PB was 2:19 before this.
Wow.
And
So
she's been concentrating on rowing most of the season. She's a really good rower, and we do coach her, but she's hasn't been able to do quite as much running as she would have liked. So, I mean, that is just phenomenal.
It's a 5-second PB. You won't say no to that, and just by 0.3 of a second ahead of Lucy Sheenan of Auckland, and then Katie Borton rounding out the top 5. So.
Yeah, that's right. I think most of them ran negative splits because Kira was only through in about 66 and came home, a lot faster. And same with all those other girls up until about 6th place. I think they all negative split there. So that was a hard way to run it, but very gutsy.
The other thing, too, just to take into account, we look at the 2.7, and we've been talking about that a lot in terms of the sprinters at their back. They had to try and punch into that, particularly on that second lap, as you talk about negative splitting, which is the fact that the second lap is actually quicker than, I've got that around the wrong way, haven't I, with regards to the negative split, sorry.
Yes, the second lap was faster than the first lap, so sorry, I may have said it the wrong way around. I'm too excited.
No.
But normally, the fastest way to run an 800 is certainly to do a faster first lap, so to be able to come and run those times off that kind of pacing is just phenomenal. It'll be interesting to see if this next race does the waterfall start, but I think that probably threw them off a wee bit, but it's all learning, and no, that was...
So you weren't aware of that. If you were aware of that, what is the sort of advice a coach would give in that situation? As I say, we're used to seeing allocated lanes, staggered start, or coming in at after the first 100 metres. What kind of advice can you give to your young chargers? Maybe there's some young athletes listening right now saying, hey, if I'm in that situation, Angie Petty, what would you advise me to do?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I have never really seen this, not at this level, and certainly not at international level. Normally they'll double up in lanes, even with that many. So I guess you'll just have to tell them to go out really fast to make sure they don't get stuck, or be patient and work their way around rather than panicking and getting knocked about. But I guess everyone's got the same plan. They want to get to the front within that first 50 metres. So that's normally why you have it just over 100 metres to get into the groove. But no, they adapted well.
Just saw Adam Stack of Canterbury clearing 1 metre 88. And we're getting ready for our next 800 metres event.
Yeah, so this is an exciting lineup as well. We've got Maisie Hilton here, who ran a 2:06 the other week to put her ranking. Her PB was 2:10 before that, and she went all the way down to 2:06 in a very fast-paced race in Auckland behind a couple of the senior girls, Holly Manning, who is in the seniors this weekend. and Jenny Hawke. So they ran 2:04 and 2:05, and she ran a 2:06 there, Macy Hilton. So she'll probably be going in as the favourite with the fastest PB, but you wouldn't count out anyone else. We've got some other pretty fast times in there with Peyton Lee with a PB of 2:11, Chloe Hughes around 2:13, Bo Ritchie, the young 15-year-old, she's gone all the way up to the under-20s, so interesting to see her at that age choosing to go up a grade.
That's a name just to maybe just sort of note as we head back again over. So it's still at 1:88 over there in the high jump. And just confirming. So that was Misha Warboys getting over from Tasman. We saw that was a missed on the first but cleared on the second at Misha. So we're seeing some, as we say, we love this sort of stuff. There's lots of action as we try and keep up to date with everything.
So good to see it all going ahead, isn't it, after all the COVID situation we've been in. And we know our athletes are just over the moon that they could even be here. So thanks to Athletics New Zealand for being able to still host this amazing event.
Well, I know that the sentiment is shared. There's actually just a young gentleman behind us by the name of Jackie who got 1/3 in the bronze medal in the triple jump. We were just talking to him earlier on. I said, must be pretty stoked. And his reply was, I'm just really stoked to be here. And I think that's going to be the sentiment for a lot of people. That's
right. I was looking unlikely to be able to hold it with the restrictions, but they've done an amazing job to keep it going.
Here's Jackie Dye, bronze medalist in the triple jump out of representing Manawatu Wanganui collegiate student, border there. So lovely we chat with him. I didn't tell him I went to Wanganui High School. It's the better school in Wanganui. I didn't want to sort of bring him down.
So what was your expertise on the track and the field?
Look, in terms of, I guess I'm one of those, what they used to call an enthusiastic participant.
Oh, right.
I did 1 year, my claim to fame from a track and field point of view, I did win the shot put 1 year at Wanganui High School and got to go on and compete at the city event, which I found was really good fun. And but I think I probably missed my calling. I'm one of those sort of people who just doesn't like missing out. So I should have actually probably tried to become a decathlete.
Right. Yeah. So, then you got to do the all 10 events.
Yeah. I don't mind a bit of running. Yeah. My technique was pretty ordinary and everything, but I just loved giving it a go. And I was one of those kids. I just didn't like missing out. It's kind of like I'm over here doing that. It's like, oh, they're over there jumping. Well, I want to go over there and do some jumping. So
yeah, that's the great thing about those multi-events.
Well, I have been told by Chris Strange that I should have a crack at the age group sort of multi-event stuff that they do.
Go.
So
never too late.
Never too late. I'm petrified with regards to a pole vault, but I'm sure I could lob myself over. Yeah. Lob myself over something if need be.
I can't say I'll be so excited to try that one. I think I'll stick to middle distance.
So just a wee delay here as we wait for the traditional start to the 800 metres, and that one there is just a clip. Yeah. The height is now up at 1.93 metre. That's Quinn Hartley. And let's get back to the 800 metre action.
That's right. It'll be interesting to see who goes out hard. It looks much more familiar seeing them in lanes and breaking down the back straight.
So you'll see them come across. You'll see a little series of very small yellow cones coming into your line of sight shortly, and you will see them break from that start and all move across into that inside lane.
Yeah, I can't quite see which Auckland is at the front. We've also got Joanna Poland in this race, who has run a 2:13 PB and won the gold in the under-18 last year. So she's another very quick athlete. We've got Chloe Hughes just tucked in second there. Just trying to get the number on that first girl.
Yeah, I'm just having a look as well. I'm not sure if that's Joanna Poland. No, it's actually, just checking through, it's actually Macy Hilton. That is
Macy, who I talked about before. I didn't recognise her for a second. But yeah, Macy Hilton is a very good runner, as I say. She's got that 2:06 behind her, so she knows that she's got that strength to be able to go through fast and hold it.
Emma Ferguson is sitting currently in second spot at the moment. I'm fascinated to see. It's Samantha Crook, who was actually part of the 100 metres final not that long ago.
That's
right. It's an interesting double up running, running 100 and an 8.
It is a very interesting match. So we've got Macy Hilton having gone through in a 63. So she went through 6 seconds quicker than the under-18s. She's looking very strong there as she heads on to the back straight.
Lovely stride there, just the ponytail flowing. It's a lovely sight as she really does just glide her way down this back straight. 2:50 to go.
That's right, she's looking very strong. So Macy Hilton taking the lead by a long way, and with that 206, she's got all the confidence in the world. That was a 1:35 split there, so she's going to be for a good time as well.
Emma Ferguson is battling. Just a wee look over the shoulder there from Macy as well. Ferguson's in second spot. Hawk is in third at the moment, but a good advantage.
That's right. Emma
Ferguson, though, chasing hard.
She is. Emma Ferguson, it wasn't actually one of the top PBs going into this, but she's looking very strong in second place there. Her PB was 2:15, is what we have down here.
But this is a really nice run by Macy Hilton as she comes down to the line. She's going to stop the clock around 2:10.
Nice
Ferguson second. Cork, that's a great run for third.
Yeah, that was amazing by Samantha Cork in third spot there.
And so they all come through, but Macy Hilton showing that class that Angie Petty was alluding to in the lead up to the start of that particular race.
That's right. So she ran the 206 a few days before the ITM, about a week and a half ago, and then she had the ITM last weekend where she didn't run quite so well. She ran around a 2:13 in the windy conditions that we had in Christchurch. Oh, we just got the high jump here.
Just confirming that time as well. That's a nice clearance too. That time for Macy Hilton, it's a 2:09.85. Ferguson 2 minutes 12.25, and Cork 2 minutes 13.69. That is your top three.
So I think that's a PB by Samantha Cork and Emma Ferguson by a good couple of seconds from both of them. So that fast pace from Macy at the front has really pulled them through. Joanna Poland, around her season's best in fourth place. Chloe Hughes a bit off her best, and the young 15-year-old Bo Ritchie still doing well to be six against, you know, girls that are probably up to 4 years older than her.
It's again another name just to keep the eyes and ears out for.
Yeah, Bo specialises particularly in the 1500, so it'll be interesting to see how she comes back tomorrow. And Peyton Lee, an amazing runner as well, has come back from an injury, so she's doing great just to be back there, and she's off to university in America this August, as are a few of these other athletes as well. So very strong middle distance running coming up in this next generation, which is really exciting to see.
Well, we've just been talking about it all day, Angie, just about just the good strength and depth. It's not deep, but I think when we look at what we have seen over the course of time, just the numbers, the good times that people are doing, New Zealand's got every right to be really enthusiastic about just the strength that we've got building in New Zealand track and field at the moment.
That's right. It's really exciting to see, and it's awesome to see that these teenagers are so resilient. You know, they've kept going through this COVID time when so many races have been cancelled, and we do have quite a few that have already qualified for the World Juniors later in August in Colombia this year, all going well with COVID. But and there's, you know, two of those girls that we just saw running have both qualified for the World Juniors. So that's Macy Hilton and Kira Hall. So to have two of them under that 209 standard is so exciting. And here's the medal presentation.
Yeah, this is for the 100 metres. Great performance by Zach Saunders. See, head back over to Quinn Hartley, and I think that was his third and final attempt at 1.93 metre, and Quinn's cleared it.
What happened there?
That's outstanding.
That's amazing.
That's a dismount and a half.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what the judges are going to give him for that. It's got to be at least a 9.75.
Oh, wow.
Well, and we can tell you now that the bar has been raised to 1.97 metre, and the under 20 men's high jump. There you see your medalists from the sprints. I think we're going to get another replay of that. I think even our director, Chris, has thought that was a bit of all right. Let's have a look as he hits the board. Back extension, transitions through. Boom!
And a nice roll. Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's brilliant.
He must be a gymnast as well. That was impressive.
That was very impressive. As I'm scanning through now, I need to know exactly who that was, trying to find our triple jump field. Just seeing what updates we're getting. We're getting them from all over the place at the moment. Big stretch there. Just leaning back, deciding to go with the more traditional landing as opposed to the forward flip.
Yeah. Triple jump's such an amazing event, isn't it? Seeing take the three parts of it, and it's certainly been pretty exciting with world records being broken at the Olympics in Tokyo. I think more and more athletes are starting to try the triple.
Well, we hear a lot about athletes sort of, starting out trying sort of everything and then ultimately specialising. Was that the same for you, Angie, or were you always just a runner?
Yeah, I guess I was always just a runner.
Actually, no, always a runner. That was very rude of me to put just, because there's no such thing as just a runner, despite what Tom Walsh advertises on his T-shirts. Have you always been a runner in athletics?
I mean, I did love other sports as well. I was a bit of a hockey player at high school, played right through till year 13. But yeah, long jump was my other event when I was at kind of Colgate game level, up until about 14, 15, where I decided to focus on just the running. But but I did like trying all the events. The sprints would help the 800 and the cross country, the good old muddy 6K races, they would be good as well. So it is good to have all those different distances throughout the year that you can try and build your strength.
As we're looking here at Luke Moffat, got extension through there. Seen Luke, who's been involved already, did the 400-metre hurdles final, then went straight from that into the pole vault. Saw Carly Sherp.
Must be a bit of a multi-eventer. Oh, there's Kira Hall, Rosaria and Sam LaSalle sitting down there. Must be very happy, very proud to be 1, 2, 3.
As we cut back now to Adam Stack. Metre 97. Up. Oh, it's a great jump from Adam Stack. And he's got plenty of space there. That's outstanding. Now we switch back to Hamish Gillette. This is what was happening when Lomax was in the commentary chair this morning, or the Cantabrians just sort of started popping up in the coverage.
Got something in our water down there. And I think also we've got a very exposed track at Napunawai. It does get very windy there, so we come along and have some good conditions, and it makes such a difference. The time's just come. Girls just giving a wee bit of a wave then. Big shout out to the girls who have been working so hard for the 800, and they got to come back tomorrow in the 1500, which will be very exciting as well. So
let's have a look here. That's Rafe. I think it's pronounced Quilialt. His first clearance as well at a metre 97. Shea Beatty, who we saw throwing just before from Otago, 40.57. This is Katie Haley out of Auckland, because they've now been through their first 3 throws, so now going in the reverse order. Gets that one. Again, that's out around the 40. Just fell back a little bit at the point of release of that one there, and then really sort of going through. Back we come to William Robertson of Southland. Extends nicely. Move back to Quinn Hartley. Oh, so close.
that was very close.
Just clipped that with the backside as he went over. He had reasonable clearance. So he's looking over at Coach going, what happened there? Coach will probably say, you were over, son. Just need to
Yeah. Sure, these boys will all be inspired by Hamish Kerr competing at the Tokyo Olympic final in that amazing high jump there. So that's good to see the young ones coming through.
Well, that's what we've been talking about, sort of legacy. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about a lady who has left an absolutely indelible legacy on the track and field landscape of New Zealand, retiring after a stellar career, and that being, of course, Dame Valerie Adams. And I mean, to you, when you were growing up, who were the athletes who you sort of looked at and you were kind of like, you admired and sort of wanted to maybe emulate?
Yeah, well, the crazy thing is that I guess Val's been going for so long that she was already amazing when I was still quite young. So, and I remember making my first World Champs team in Moscow in 2013, and she was, the kind of the golden girl, and she was so welcoming to us younger athletes in our young 20s just coming through. And really made us feel, part of the team right from then, and had the privilege of getting to be, in teams with her over, that next decade. And but no, certainly the history in middle distance, Peter Snell, all the great names, John Walker were always ones to look up to. And then, of course, Tony Hodgkinson, the 96 Olympic Games finalist in the 800. And It's awesome to see her daughter Cameron Smart running so well now and coming through in the 400, so that'll be exciting this weekend in the seniors.
Well, that senior 400 is going to be a lot of fun, particularly because Rosie Elliott's decided to spice things up a smidgen as well.
That's right. That 52.9 that she ran the other week was just phenomenal. I mean, I knew she was a really good 1-2 runner, but I didn't know she was so good over 400, so wonder if she's thinking of stepping up more often.
Well, it'll be interesting to note. Just seen Lena Losse currently in second spot at the moment with a throw of just under 30 metres. So we're getting ready for another 800-metre race, and this here is the final of the under-18 men's. There you see it, James Trathon, Callum Murray, Luke Cudby, Callum O'Keefe, James Ford, Alex Martin, Luke O'Donnell and Jack Hunter.
Yes, I think there's a lot of fast boys in this, but probably one of the favourites will be James Ford from Auckland, who has a PB of 1:52. He's also run a 49-400, so he's very quick over the one lap, so he has that speed as well. So it'll be interesting to see whether he takes it out.
Hamish Murray, Lorcan Rabit and Thomas Cowan, the other athlete. So there'll be a couple of lanes that'll be shared, but again, the traditional start.
Yeah, we've also got a couple of 154 boys. We've got Callum O'Keefe and Liam O'Donnell with PB and Alex Martin, all with PBs of 154 as well. So the medals are going to be up for a hot pursuit.
We saw Susanna Keneally there, Susanna Keneally, I should say, with a 45-metre throw. We also saw Adam Stack miss it his first attempt at 2:01. Here we go back to Michaela Sola. One gold this morning in the hammer, that one there. Here's Rafe Quilt. Oi! Just about. First miss, that's at 2:01. So
this 800 is going to be interesting with it split into two heats, but obviously it's time declared winners. So just having the, not like we've had other years, we've had the heats one day and then the final the next, but they'll just go by the fastest time for the medals. So you'd think it'd be from the first heat because they've got the fastest times, but you never know. So they won't be wanting to muck around and running too tactically. They want to be getting a good time as well.
So as we continue to flip between the discus, the high jump, and the track as well. Here is Luke Moffat. He comes powering down on his latest attempt in the triple jump. Sit and we wait for this under 18s. Again, we saw some good 800-metre running at the ITM meet that Angie Petty has already alluded to. We've seen James Preston and Sam Tanner.
Yeah, that was a very exciting
good little race, wasn't it?
Very exciting. It's going to be exciting seeing them this weekend.
Adam Stack at 2:01. Just again.
Oh, you can see the frustration when he knows he's so close.
Shia Beattie, one's in. Currently sitting in sixth spot at the moment is Shia. Just wait for that measurement to come through. The athletes all ready to go for this men's under 18. Here's Gillett again from Canterbury.
Looks like most of the field have got the good old Nike spikes. Don't worry, I'm not sponsored, but I just noticed they seem to be very popular since all the world records have been broken in them. And they certainly, with the carbon fibre plate, have been making a big difference to times over the last year or two.
Good jump there by Gillett. 41.75 for Beattie, so that pushes her up a spot into fifth. Pushes this lady, Katie Haley, into sixth spot. Can she respond? That one across. Decent, and we're off and running again.
There you go. It'll be interesting to see who wants to take the lead. There's a little bit of a headwind on the back straight, but not too bad, so we'll see whether anyone wants to run hard into that.
Well, the thing is, as you say, it's a case of two races, but it's combined time. So if you want to win a medal, you just can't muck around. It can't be anything tactical by any stretch of the imagination.
That's right. Looks like Liam O'Donnell's gone to the front at the moment. I'm not too sure if he wants to be there because he keeps looking back. The Aucklanders just slotting in behind. Oh, a bit of shoving going on. Oh, hopefully they can stay on 2 feet.
As I say, there's been all three of the Aucklanders now coming together in this heat. Down to, it's James Trathon who's just sitting there in second spot, and then you've got Ford just outside of him.
in 1:52.
It really is sort of quite a compact field.
It's slowing down a wee bit.
Thomas Cowan is the other Aucklander that's in the mix there. It's going to be O'Connell leading them through.
So it's only 60 seconds through the bell, so that's not actually that quick for some of these boys. So Liam's going to want to keep pushing that pace now. He's gone through in about 56 seconds before another races, so let's see what he can do from here.
Well, at the moment he leads them out with 300 to go, and Ford behind him, and he's pushing it along. Now Ford starts to lengthen stride as well.
That's right, they've dropped the other Aucklanders, but who's that in third? He's running well, and a bit of a gap back through to Wellington.
It's still O'Donnell holding, 200 to go. Ford, questions been asked. Liam O'Donnell trying to hold on.
That was a 26, 27, 200 there, so they've definitely sped up. Oh, can Liam hold on? It looks like James is coming around him with 120 to go.
He hits the front, down the home straight, side by side. Now here comes the challenge as well, sliding in. I think that is Callum O'Keefe. Ford's going to get by. O'Donnell looks like he's going to hold on. O'Keefe is going to get third.
And very fast times as well. 1:55 it looked like for the front.
All coming through all around. Even the remainder of the field coming through all around that 2-minute mark.
That's right.
That's been very well run, but James Ford in the end getting the job done. But I tell you what, that young man from Canterbury, Liam O'Donnell, certainly gave him a lot to think about, Angie.
That's right. Liam O'Donnell's really stepped out this season. Now, I remember him breaking 2 minutes for the first time only a couple months ago behind my husband, Sam Petty. Oh, yes, he clears.
Good clearance there by Adam Stack. Sorry, just confirmed. That was it. He's now up to 2:05. Sorry, please continue what you were saying there.
Oh, yes, just at a local interclub about a few months ago. Liam ran under 2 minutes for the first time and went from a 2 minute to a 1:57 in one race, and he's just been improving every race since then.
he's now 1:55.82.
So he was actually running 1:54, but to run it off that slow first lap like that is just phenomenal. It shows they got even more there. So he'll be really, really happy with that. And his coach, James Ansell in Christchurch, I'm sure he's watching. He's come over from the UK and he's coaching those Port Hill guys really, really well.
So keep an eye on that. So James Ford with 1:55.3. So when the next group of athletes come out, if you want to claim the gold medal and be classed as the national champion of 2022, you're going to need to run underneath that time. Here is Adam Stack.
That was an amazing clearance before. Let's see what he's got.
Well, he's got 2:05 now.
Oh, my
what a
goodness.
beauty!
Wow.
Yeah. We know you're from Canterbury. Don't you worry about that, Adam Stack.
Especially after you're not clearing the other one on the first go. That was an amazing
That's
clearance.
a beaut. And again, we talk about people bringing other people through. You just wonder what a guy like Adam Stack, when he sees Hamish Kerr sort of bombing over at, 2:33s and that sort of stuff, what he's thinking about.
Well, I think he might actually train with him because I saw him just there in the background with Terry Lomax. So I'm not 100% sure, but maybe he does train with him, which would be pretty inspiring.
Just saw Rafe Couliot there, just missing at 2:05. Now switch back. This is Carly Sherp from Southland. Currently sitting in 7th spot. Suspect this is actually their last round of throws in the women's discus. You see.
Terry Lomax is looking pretty happy, so maybe it is his athlete.
Well, Terry was saying he's had quite a few people sort of wandering around. He's got a different view on it as well because his son is going to be competing.
Yes, that's right. But Kieran, I think he's doing a few different events, isn't he? So good to see him.
Well, it wouldn't be like a Lomax to just do one now, would it? Let's be honest.
No, that's right. Makes me feel guilty for only doing the 800.
Shia Beatty here. She's currently in 5th at the moment. She improved with that last throw. She gets that out. That's another good throw. Very flat trajectory. Around that 40-metre mark. So we now get set for the second of the 800-metre events.
So these boys will be looking to break 2 minutes. No one's quite gone under in this field so far, but we have got Jackson McKay who's run a 2:01 and heaps of boys on 2:02, 2:03.
So 2 misses at 2:05. That was the second one you just saw from Raf. We believe it's Couliot. So now, just a reminder, the time of James Ford, 1:55.3. So whilst they are competing independently, that's the time that one of these athletes is going to have to run faster than if they want to claim the gold medal, or any medal.
That's right. So who's that at the front from Wellington? That.
Jack Hunter possibly pushing forward.
Well, it could be Jacob Kilmister.
We look as they come around the top and just trying to
Ben
catch numbers. Yeah, you are right, actually. It is Jacob Kilmister, 6'8", who's just leading them through at the moment. No. It was another one again. Happy to have that number down on our actual start sheet here at the moment. Oh, no, it is Ben Brunner, so you're right. There we go.
They're running well. They're looking through to go through about the same kind of time as the first heat, around 1 minute flat. So let's see what they can close in the second heat, because that was real class in that first heat.
James Hurkis sitting there as well. Brunner. Yeah, we see a red and black singlet lurking.
They're all looking very good down the back straight. It's pretty close between them. You can't really tell who it's going to be at the moment.
Tell you what, if I'm that Canterbury runner, is that Will McMeekin?
That's Will McMeekin.
Just sitting. I'd quite happily let those two just power into that breeze and then just absolutely pop off the shoulders at about 150.
He's running amazing. We actually coach Will as well, so he is looking very strong. Let's hope he can hold on, but it looks like it might be, who's that pulling away?
Looks like that's Hurkis.
Oh, wow, he is running amazing. James Hurkis from Manawatu.
Made a really big push. Brunner, the head's wobbling a little bit. Well, this is a lovely run by Hurkis. Now the time, remember, 55.3. It's not going to be enough for a medal.
Is he still going to dip under 2 minutes?
It's just under, but it's not going to be quick enough to claim any of the medals from the people and the athletes in the previous race.
No, but I'm sure he'll be stoked to break 2 minutes for the first time. I remember that feeling. To get under that 2 minute barrier is an awesome achievement.
So as we wait for those results to flick on through. Yes, a little bit tighter effort there from our friend from Tasman. No roly-poly. Here's Carmen Elizabeth Maratz. Currently in third. Now second. There's a replay, 44.99. Selena Losse. Talking up.
Oh, that went very high.
Yep, that one there's going to be the distance that she would be looking for. So probably around mid-30s. Still sitting in third spot at the moment.
Very technical. Didn't look like maybe it came out quite out of her hand as she would have liked.
There's Adam Stack. 2:09 for Adam Stack. It's been a...
So the World Junior qualifier is 2:15, I see there. So he's actually not too far away.
Well, he's performed really well so far. I'm sure he would absolutely love to see if he can just keep going. Just ride this wave of momentum. Ooh, a good first up effort. Just turns and straight away he's chatting away to the coach.
So I just see that his PB before this was 199. As long as that's right on his Athletics New Zealand profile.
Oh.
So he's done a huge improvement today.
Look there, that's, well, 26th of February 2022, that 199.
At the ITM.
So that's last week. So he hasn't just gone over it. So he's cleared 2 metres for the first time, and he's just kept on going.
That is incredible. No wonder he was fist pumping before.
Well, again, it's those psychological. You spoke about that time. The first time you dipped under 2.
Yeah.
You know, for them, it's going over 2 in that particular.
That's right. To be able to say
event.
you're a 2 metre jumper, you know, that's something pretty impressive. So he will be really stoked.
It's very impressive from Adam Stack. He's still got, just checking, he's still got more attempts to go. And Susanna Keneally, 47.04 in the women's discus. It's the under-18 women's discus. We've got what will be our final event of the coverage today, and that's going to be the men's 800 metres under 20s. We'll be leaving you at the conclusion of this event.
It's going to be a very exciting event as well. We've got some pretty fast guys in here. Looks like the fastest PB is Luke Hitchcock from Auckland with a 151. We've got Carson Vetsy with a 152 and Zane Powell 153. Then all the times are pretty close right through to just over 2 minutes.
So then you see Henry Allett, Canterbury, Costa Mills, 2 Wanganui. So we turn over to the next page.
Oh, they look like they're doing 13. The waterfall start as well.
Have you been able to get a message to your co-coach maybe to just pre-warn some of your charges in this particular event if that was going to happen?
We don't actually have anyone in this one, so...
Okay, there you go. So you dodged the bullet there.
Yeah. I must say it would be. I would find that a bit tough if you didn't know that until the last minute, but, you know, you've got to be able to adapt.
Well, this is the under 20 men's 800 metres. Getting their final instructions in front of us as we see another jump by a man who's had a big afternoon. He's competed 400 metres hurdles. He's competed in the pole vault. Now the triple jump.
Wow, that is a busy time.
Multi-eventers.
Yeah. I must say, I always feel that for the decathlon boys when I see them do the 1500 at the end. And here we go.
And we're underway. This is going to be 800, and again, the jostling, it's not too bad as they head through the first turn. And then straight away, we say that. Getting right to the front was Ethan Smolch, and he just sort of weighed anchors there for a bit, and this is going to be, by the looks of it, a little bit more tactical.
Yeah, now he's slowed it right down at the front. It doesn't look like he wants to lead, so he's hoping someone will go past him from the look of it. But no one's willing to at the moment. Maybe they'll wait until they've got the tailwind on the home straight.
And that's Carsten Vesti from Hawke's Bay Gisborne just sort of hanging. Now someone's decided to go for a little bit of a gallop around the outside. And
yeah, he doesn't want to put up with that slow pedestrian pace.
Just trying to check who that is, sort of just coming around the outside.
474.
So that is Costa Mills out of Manawatu Wanganui, wearing the Athletics Wairarapa colours, and now Smolch just trying to get himself out of a bit of a hole. Sorry, Angie.
No, that's all right. He's a 156 runner, and then we've got going to the front. I think that might be Luke Hitchcock.
Yeah, it is Luke. That's leading to the front. They go through around 62, 63 seconds.
So that's a pretty slow pace for these boys, so this next lap is going to be really fast.
Well, Hitchcock is off and rolling, but he's got bodies coming with him.
That's right.
Mainly in the form of Zane Powell.
And they've got a couple of those Canterbury boys there right as well. They're running really well, keeping on him. Charlie Hazlitt there in 4th place.
Here comes Carsten Vesti. Gets to the outside of Hitchcock. On 150 to go. Now Zane Powell trying to dig it. Trying to go with him as well as Smolch.
It's the 3 with the fastest PBs in the field that are in top 3 at the moment.
There's still. This is going to be a cracking finish. Vesti. Powell, now they clear. Powell gets to the outside.
Oh, it looks like
Powell really moving nicely, around a 155.5 from Vesti.
That is impressive after such a slow first lap. Very good running, and he just timed that so perfectly.
Zane Powell, well, as we say, 155 when we say they sauntered through sort of
63.
around 63.
That is a very fast finish.
Have absolutely blitzed that last lap, and a wonderful run there by Zane Powell as we just wait for the timing to pop up on our screen and we can confirm some of these numbers for you. 155.58 for Zane Powell. Carsten Vesti comes through 156.23. Stack trying at 209 and missing, and then Hitchcock 156.79.
Wow.
Get your top three.
It's a very tactical way, and it's interesting because they only had the one straight final as opposed to the two-timed heats, that no one was too worried about the time on the first lap. Ethan coming through in 1:57. Charlie Hazlitt. I think those boys are off to the States in August as well. Probably a lot of these ones, actually.
See Adam Stack, who's just had another crack at 2:08. He's only got one more opportunity at that. Back over to the triple jump. We will be taking a short break, I believe. May even actually be just wrapping up our coverage of that. There is Adam Stack.
Very proud of Canterbury. That's awesome to see. I might be biased being from Christchurch.
I was going to say, I've got to be honest with you, I haven't met too many unproud Cantabrians in my time, Angie Petty.
No, we pretty tough down there. We didn't have a track for 7 years after the earthquake, so amazing that, through that time everyone kept going, and now we've got good old Napunawai
and that's a great. That is a really great facility. I know we can joke a little bit about maybe the open nature and how it does get a smidge breezy every once in a while, but in terms of a quality facility, absolutely outstanding for that city, which of course is we talk about. It's got such great pedigree.
That's right.
Adam going at 2:09. That lasted. The first effort was the best. Round of applause, and so he should be. He should be well stoked. He's gone. Last week he was jumping 199. A week later he's added, what was that, 6 centimetres to his PB? That's a 2:05.
That is phenomenal.
And that is one stoked coach as well.
And even to just get over that 2 metre mark, but then go all the way to 2:06.
Well, that is really impressive from Adam Stack.
Hamish Kerr will be excited to see as well that he's got some young guys coming through.
Well, he's the national champion, under 20 level, Adam Stack. And that's a really nice way to finish our opening day coverages. There you see the camaraderie between the 4 athletes involved. We've seen some great 800 metres running to finish it off. We've seen good times in the sprints, and as we will see again tomorrow when we return for day 2 of the Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships, more high quality young athletes on display. Like today, it'll be our under 18 and under 20 athletes, and then Saturday, Sunday, the senior and para athletes. On behalf of the team who have provided the pictures, the stream shot, and my co-commentators throughout the day, Sarah Cowley-Ross, Terry Lomax, and for the last couple of hours, Angie Petty, my thanks to you. Nigel Oldham wishing you a very good evening, and we look forward to your company again tomorrow here on Sky Sport Next.